Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. Today is the Community Grab Bag. The Community Grab Bag is a collection of games. It's only going to be the one tonight, but there is a hotfix submission form where you can submit your own runs to be showcased on the hotfix, and the Community Grab Bag showcases them. So tonight is a run that has been submitted through that. If you are interested in being on the GDQ Hotfix, you can always go to gdq.gg/hotfix and submit your runs there. Just a few quick reminders before we get into it, sorry. If you are watching GDQ, we want to hear from you. So Games Done Quick is looking to learn how you watch speedruns the most. If you have a few minutes, you can visit gdq.gg/survey and let us know what you want to see. Also, just as a reminder, Summer Games Done Quick 2026 will be live in Minneapolis, Minnesota from July 5th to the 11th. You can visit gdq.gg to learn more or register for the event. You can also check out the schedule over at gdq.gg/schedule. With all that said, I'm going to hand it over to our runner and commentators here, let everybody introduce themselves in the game.
All right. I think we are ready for Escape from Ever After 90%. So hello there, everybody. I am Illegally Sam. And yeah, this will be a good time tonight. I am joined by some commentators, though.
Yeah, what's up? I'm Captain LF, glitch hunter and speedrunner of many indie games.
I'm Jacoby. Also a speedrunner of many games, primarily RPGs.
Yeah. And believe it or not, this game is both an indie game and an RPG, so it's right up all of our wheelhouses.
Mind blown.
Yeah, for anybody who's never seen this game before, I think you'll be able to tell its inspirations pretty quickly. But the intro for this game, takes a little bit to get going, so I figure we could just go ahead and get started and just start talking about it from there. So time will start after I select the difficulty on the screen here, so we can get started in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Good luck, Sam.
Thank you.
Good luck.
So yeah, like I said, this is Escape from Ever After. The basic gist of this game is, we're the storybook character Flint Buckler, who is from his own storybook, The Adventures of Flint Buckler, where he, has to defeat the evil dragon Tinder as we enter her castle for our final encounter. But, yeah, it looks like things are a little different from how we remember it. As we get our peaceful lobby music and have to go talk to the receptionist at the front.
You'll notice that Sam is playing in Mandarin. This is, like a lot of speed games, just the fastest language for text boxes.
Yeah, the way mashing works, like the actual amount of text in each text box doesn't matter too much, but the amount of text boxes does. So yeah, obviously reducing the amount of text boxes means you don't have to mash as much text. And in an RPG, as you can imagine, there's a lot of text.
Oh yes.
All right, but now we have to
Sam just
go for it.
Sam just picked up a Sun Gem. Those are collectibles that we use to pick up upgrades that will help us during battles later on.
Yeah, I will need specifically 17 of them, because I will be buying 4 separate things from a shopkeeper that only sells things in Sun Gems. Also, yeah, this is Mr. Moon. He is a manager here because Tinder's Castle was actually taken over by Ever After Inc. A corporation that has connected all of the storybook worlds. And this here is Tinder. She's also been imprisoned in her own castle along with us.
She's a lot smaller than I remember.
Yeah, I feel like she was a lot bigger in those books.
Also, make sure I menu so I don't get the tutorials in the tutorial fight.
You do lose just about a minute and a half, maybe more.
Yeah, there is quite a few tutorials that I have to menu around throughout the beginning of the run here. But that is definitely one of the worst ones to mess up, especially because it asks you twice.
Yeah, just like Paper Mario, we have quick time events for all of our attacks and blocks.
Because I think many people can agree, action commands make every RPG better.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
All right, but this also introduces us to our overworld abilities. Every character in this game, including Flint, has their own overworld ability that we can use to solve puzzles and interact with different things in the environment, etc., etc. Flint's is he throws his buckler like a boomerang, kind of. And while that is important in the sense that it can hit objects and it can retrieve items that are at a distance, in the pretty soon you'll also see just how broken it can actually be.
Oh yes, we have broken open the game using the most basic of abilities.
All right. And also, just like in Paper Mario and other similar games, you know, action commands when attacking, action commands when blocking. Most of the time, it matters a lot that I hit the attacking ones. It does not always matter as much that I hit the defending ones, because we are playing on the easiest difficulty. And that means all of the enemies are as weak as we can make them. This game has an easy, normal, and hard difficulty, which just modifies how much damage enemies do, how much health they have, etc., etc. So having enemies have less health makes things go faster. All right, but this is when the shenanigans really begin. It might take me a second to get it. And we will explain after I do it, because I want to get it first. Ah, dang. Got to jump, but I didn't quite get out of bounds. There we go.
Nice. This is one of the harder skips in the game. In
There we
my
go.
Personal opinion.
Go straight into the loading zone for that door. We skip an entire fight by doing that. And now you may be wondering, what in the world did I just watch? That is actually a very good question, because we were off screen for most of that. That is called a buckler hop. That is the bread and butter of this game as a speedrun. Basically, by pausing the game, or throwing the buckler, pausing the game about 1 frame later, if done perfectly. Doesn't have to be perfect all the time, but by pausing the game, we will throw the buckler, regain control by pausing and unpausing the game, and then immediately jumping after unpausing. We just get an absolutely incredible amount of height. And that will let us go and make tons of jumps that we're not supposed to, go out of bounds in a lot of areas we are obviously not supposed to, and just skip tons of stuff all throughout the game.
It is significantly more broken in some areas than others, but you will notice that 95% of the things that we do in this game are made possible by the buckler hop.
Mm-hmm. I just realized that I forgot to equip Buckler Barrage again. Oh well, that's not actually that big of a deal. It just makes this fight like 15 seconds longer. I made this exact same mistake yesterday. That is unfortunate, but that is okay. Like I said, it is not a huge deal. It just means I do slightly less damage with Flint each turn. But this is the first boss fight of the run. These are the 3 blind mice. They can see now. They're no longer blind. That is the in-universe reason is because now that since they work for Escape from Ever After Inc., they have health insurance, so they're no longer blind.
God for insurance.
It only does good things. But yeah, the gist of this fight is just they will attack you every turn and you attack them back. It's still the prologue. Fight's going to be very simple. Also, thankfully, I did burn that first mouse, so he just jumped on top and immediately fell over after being defeated. That was pretty funny.
He just tripped when he got up there.
Definitely.
That's a long fall, man, for a mouse.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right. So if I had remembered to do my equip correctly, I would have equipped... Basically, if you're familiar with Paper Mario, I would have basically equipped Power Bounce on Flint here, where he would have thrown his buckler at them over and over again until it hits the hard limit of 4 hits until we upgrade it. Later, it will be 5 hits. But that attack, the Buckler Barrage, is going to be our main source of damage in a lot of fights. Not all of them.
It used to be a lot more busted, but a patch has taken that out of the game.
More specifically, it was busted in the demo, and then the full release made it not busted.
This is true.
Because the way it used to work is, if you're familiar with Paper Mario, it used to work exactly the same as Power Bounce, where the first hit does, for example, 4 damage, and the next hit does 3, 2, 1, etc., etc. Now the first hit does that 4 damage, and then every subsequent hit only does 1 damage. Alright, this guy is kind of in the way. Oops. Unfortunate.
Oh.
Yeah, that guy, if he decides to be like right next to the staircase there's not really too much you can do to avoid him, unfortunately.
Yep. This also introduces the runaway mechanic. So just like Paper Mario, if you get into a fight that you don't want to complete, you can run away from it. Of course, not including major fights.
It does lose you a little bit of money in the process, but the way money is routed in this run, that will most likely not matter at all, which is nice. And thankfully, it is not like Paper Mario, where it is RNG. It is just, you have to time your button press, and that's it.
Yeah, you would have to get severely unlucky for the 3 or 4 coins that you lose from running away to matter.
Yeah, and there's enough coins scattered throughout the world that it's easy to pick up a few extras if needed. Also, now that we've escaped from the dungeon, we're going to get a job here at Ever Aftering. So this is our interview with Mr. Moon, so that we can get hired. Our answers do not matter at most. It just changes the amount of text boxes, and it would take longer to menu to another option than to just keep mashing through the text. So just pick the first option over and over again. All right. And there's no extra cubicles, so we get our own little, like, closet room as an office. Casually, you can actually, like, customize this room. You can, like, find furniture, put it up in the room, and, like, customize things all over. Obviously, that is not fast, so we're not going to be doing it, but it's just, like, a fun little touch.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
All right.
We'll also say our office is a lot bigger than everyone else's. They all have little desks. We have a whole closet.
It kind of worked out in our favor.
We got the long stick. Yeah, exactly.
Especially since our team of 2 will not stay for terribly long.
Funnily enough, we can actually dupe sun gems later in the game, but it's just fast enough where most of the gems that we pick up on the way are just, fast enough to get the amount of sun gems we need. If we needed more, it would probably be better to dupe, but since we only need a certain amount, it ends up being just fine.
Also, we're doing some funny shenanigans again. Get around to this pillar.
So yeah, welcome to no.
The movement is tricky because you're like off screen, and the game very much does not want you being up there.
Yeah. We've already showed off just a little bit of how broken this game can be, but you're about to really see it in tenfold here. This skip actually doesn't skip as much as you might think it does. It skips a little bit of dialogue in the tutorial, but it is...
Come on.
Oh, man. This is also a very hard skip. I think, honestly, most of the hardest skips are in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the run.
Oh, yeah, no, like, a lot of the hardest stuff is early on, for sure. There we go.
Yep.
Right, a lot of that's here, and then talk to Starla. There we go. Your view is completely obscured, so it's a little tricky to actually get the dialogue trigger there.
Yep. So that skips having to talk to Helga and Mr. Moon before getting the Three Little Pigs book.
Yeah.
So the way that we actually travel between chapters here is with this storybook system. The storybooks are their own little worlds. This first one is the Three Little Pigs. It's obviously reminiscent of many different books that you might have read as a child, which is kind of where the Ever After comes in.
Or at the very least, this book is. Some of the later books, not so much.
That's true.
Yeah.
I would be very concerned if you read Chapter 2's inspiration as a child.
Hey man, I just had interesting taste.
Right. I didn't want to mash through the dialogue super quickly there, because if I mash A too quickly, I 100% will reactivate the teleporter and teleport back to the starting castle, which would be a lot slower.
I've done that far more times than I would like to.
There's a reason why I do not mash very quickly there anymore. It's because I've done it the exact same.
This little section here is just a perfect example of how much buckler hops are just like, even disregarding the most broken of skips, you can just maneuver around so much collision and save so much time on movement just by having that little bit of extra height.
There's going to be a good number of jumps that I elect not to do, simply because if I mess them up once or twice, they don't save time anymore, and at that point, just do it the casual way. Especially when some of those jumps are like extremely difficult and save like 5 seconds. It's just like, at that point, don't even bother. Just, it's only worth it if you're like going for a super optimized time at that point. But yeah, this is the construction site that the three little pigs are running. They are doing it on behalf of Ever After Inc., but they're having some trouble with the nearby village of wolves. This is Wolfgang. He's the leader of that wolf village and they're trying to negotiate with him so they can bulldoze that village and construct an apartment complex.
You may know him as the Big Bad Wolf, but he's actually a fairly whimsical guy. You'll see the lute on his back.
Yeah, it's his stage name. He's a musician, so his stage name is the Big Bad Wolf.
It's kind of a shame that we mashed through all the text, but obviously it's fast. This game is extremely funny.
Yeah, and most of you would not be able to read it anyway because it's not in English.
Oh yes, I almost forgot about that.
That one slight detail.
But yeah, Wolfgang's overworld ability is basically kind of like an instrument from Zelda, where you open up a little menu, you play notes using directions on the D-pad or control stick, and it plays songs that do things in the overworld. Specifically, we only have one song right now that allows plants to grow, and that would let us get up here so we can actually travel to Happy Howl Hollow and visit the wolf village. Alright, this jump is always sometimes a little annoying. There we go. But instead of going to the wolf village, what if we just go over here and just go back to the construction site?
I think that seems like a better option, you know? I've heard those wolves are kind of stinky.
Yeah, those pigs kicked us out, so let's just go in the back door. So yeah, we're going to be basically doing this entire chapter completely out of order. Because basically the intended way of progressing through this chapter is we are supposed to go to the wolf village, go to the enchanted woods, get a new song for Wolfgang, then we can finally actually get into the construction site, do a whole bunch of stuff here, and then after we finally do a whole bunch of stuff here, we can go fight the boss of the chapter. But instead, we're going to do all of the construction site stuff now, because it's faster to do it now, and then we will go to the enchanted woods, get the ability for Wolfgang, and then come back and finish the chapter after that, because that is just the fastest way to go about things.
I think this jump is a good time to explain why buckler hops actually work.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So yeah, the gist of why this trick actually works in the first place is when you throw the buckler in midair, the game briefly reduces your gravity, and the reason it does that is to make the way that you fall through the air while throwing the buckler in midair feel a bit more natural, so it will slow you down in midair and make you fall slightly slower, so the buckler doesn't you don't just plummet to the ground while the buckler is being thrown. But because it reduces your gravity and is supposed to lock your inputs, if you were instead to jump during that reduced gravity, you just get an absolutely absurd amount of height sometimes. And that is why getting the most amount of height possible out of it requires being frame perfect, because that means you jump as early as possible inside of the reduced gravity.
Speaking of this trick and its frame perfect nature, it's also important to mention that Sam is playing on the Xbox, and we did some testing with FPS levels, and the consoles get just a tiny bit less height than PC players, which is a little unfortunate, but most skips have a backup strategy.
It matters most if you were to play this game on Switch for obvious reasons. Yes. But as Xbox Series X is thankfully close enough to PC that it doesn't really matter. Also, this entire area we are just completely not doing in order.
Yeah, well, we're getting invisible text boxes from the unicorn workers that you may have saw unionizing earlier, but, you know.
Yeah, there is, if you were to do things as intended, there's actually a series of, there's a dialogue choice which is like, oh yeah, I love unions, or no, I hate unions.
Yeah, you just gotta pick which kind of corporate worker you want to be.
Yeah, but we are not actually able to reach the boss of this chapter just yet, so we will instead walk past that suspicious wooden hut that is made out of sticks. I'm sure that is a completely original house idea. But now we are able to get to Happy Howl Hollow actually through the back way. So there's the 3 little pigs here. Those are not actually supposed to be there normally. They're there because of a cutscene that we are not triggering. And so they're just gonna chill there because we're never gonna trigger that cutscene instead.
And it's time for more out-of-bounds shenanigans, so I hope you guys are ready.
Since I forgot to do it earlier, let me just equip Buckler Barrage now before I forget.
It's a great idea.
I'm also going to buy 1 explosive brew. This will be useful during the boss fight at the end of the chapter. Oops.
So there's a wolf here who prevents you from going into the Enchanted Woods because it's dangerous. Obviously, we don't really care about that. Nothing's dangerous for a person who can literally walk in the sky. But it just requires a bunch of frame-perfect jumps over the tree collision to hop into the loading zone on the back.
I will take a safety save here, not because this trick is difficult, but if I were to mess it up, that would be very bad.
This fight takes forever.
Yeah, so we're skipping a mini-boss by just jumping over it. And now we don't have to worry about it. There is a boss fight against Trollbert, the troll there. He wants us to pay the toll to cross the bridge. We don't want to do that, so we have to fight. Or we could just jump over.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. This is a puzzle-oriented area. Once again, for somebody who can walk on the air, it's not really something that concerns us.
Yeah, the way you're supposed to go through here is you're supposed to go around, light all of the torches, and that'll open up the exit. Alternatively, you can just, like, jump up here, do a buckler hop up to this torch right here. It's a little finicky to stand on it comfortably. Get up here. I think that's good. And yeah, no, we are quite literally walking on air because there's an invisible wall here. But yeah, go all the way to the right here, go slightly out, back in, jump around here, and then take the loading zone. Yeah, now it is...
Unfortunately... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So now it's time for the Lost Woods.
Yeah, literally the Lost Woods. I was about to say that unfortunately we have not found a place for, or a skip for this place. Because of the way that the loading zones work, it doesn't actually matter if you can hit them in a specific way, as far as we can tell.
Yeah, just because we can't skip the entire area doesn't mean we can't skip little bits and pieces.
Oh, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the way this area is intended to work is you play a song with Wolfgang in the main room, and then when you approach each of the exits, it'll play some music, and the one that plays the correct song for the part that you're at is the exit that you want to take. Obviously, it's the same every time, so we already know where to go. And I do have notes up to make sure I remember specifically where to go, because I have messed up before.
Yeah, I have messed up many times in this place.
I have notes both for the songs to play and the directions to go, because these songs are also the same every time, but this is the only time you ever play them in the entire run. So it's very easy to forget them. Alright, so go through here, pop down here, grab some coins. Alright, and then I have to avoid this enemy if possible. Okay, dang.
This guy's in just one of the most unfortunate positions in the entire game.
I can manage to squeak past him without encountering him most of the time, but obviously not every time. Thankfully, you know, it's not actually that big of a deal to get an encounter. It does lose time, but it's not like you are losing a mass amount of time every single encounter. It's just minor time loss. Also, we could skip this entire area, but just buckler hopping over to that torch and just lighting it from on top of the torch.
The Tinder's Fire Collision is actually extremely interesting. Did some looking into it, and most of the time you actually cannot hit things that are below you, but if you have any sort of collision that dips down even by like a single pixel, you can hit something below you with a upswing. It's very interesting, because her flame kind of like dips down a little bit if you try to maneuver the angle.
All right, taking these hits does not particularly matter because I will heal before I do the next boss fight. Alright, so yeah, this is another room where we're supposed to do a little thing where, you know, we light up the cauldron here because there's an area for some fire under it. That would, like, cause an extra cutscene. What if we just, go over here instead? And just...
Did I hear extra cutscene? Seems a little slow.
Exactly. Why don't we just
Yeah,
go
I
over?
agree. Not in my 15-hour RPG.
Yeah, I will say, casually, this game's actually not that long for an RPG. Like, I was able to 100% it on hard in under 20 hours, casually, for my first playthrough, so, like... It's a very reasonable length, thankfully. But as a...
Yeah, I would say that's one of the pluses about it. It's not super long of an RPG.
Yeah. Alright, now we get our second permanent song for Wolfgang. This is the Blustery Ballad. Basically, we're the big bad wolf, now we can blow down their houses.
I actually skip getting this song and this outfit here, but, you know, obviously, you kind of need it.
Yeah, it just makes things a little awkward if you do that. But before we head back to the construction site to actually go finish the chapter, we're going to take a slight detour. Back to Tinder's Castle. Because actually, when we did Starless Skip earlier, we actually skipped the ability to use synergy abilities. And so every character has a unique synergy ability, and they're basically, if you played a Paper Mario game, they're, you know, the things you use star power for, or whatever the equivalent is in the game that you were playing. All right.
It's also important to note that we're coming back now specifically because you can get the synergy abilities at any time as long as it's before you beat the boss. Sorry, I almost spoiled.
The three little bosses.
Yeah, the three little bosses.
Yeah, but the important thing is we do this because we need one of the synergy abilities to do the boss fight quickly, but more importantly, this is also where you can upgrade your abilities. Specifically, we need to upgrade Buckler Barrage, and we need to upgrade one of Wolfgang's abilities. And the reason why we wait till now to actually get everything is because we wouldn't have had Wolfgang earlier. Alright, so let's go ahead, upgrade Buckler Barrage, and I forget the actual full name of it, but it's the one where he grows a vine. Now Buckler
It's
Barrage...
something fine.
Yeah, Buckler Barrage goes from being 4 hits to being 5 hits now. And the important thing about the Vine ability is now if it hits an enemy, it will poison them. That is extremely important for this next fight, because the way poison in this game works is it lowers the enemy's defense by 1. Which already is useful because it makes every hit do more damage, but even if they have 0 defense, it still lowers their defense by 1 to -1 defense. And so Buckler Barrage, which normally does 1 damage per hit, now does 2 damage per hit. And the attack that does 5 damage now does 10 damage. You could probably guess.
And you might be able to see how that's... Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Another interesting thing to note about poison is that prior to, I think, the 3rd patch on live, you could poison every boss in the game. You can still poison some bosses, as you're about to see, but realistically, they had to change it for some of them.
Yeah, specifically the Chapter 2 boss can no longer be poisoned, which is unfortunate, because now that is the hardest boss on the run. Also,
Yet another thing
we just skipped everything in the construction site, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. So if you go back from the back, you can just totally mess up the game's flags and skip every single part of. It's one of the reasons why we did it early.
Yeah, because what we're supposed to do is we get a key for a crane there where we're supposed to go off to the back, all the way back to the front of the construction site, lower something so that we can let the unicorns get past, and then lower the bridge for the unicorns, and then they get there and then they help us rebuild the elevator. But because we lowered the bridge for the unicorns early, the flags already got set that things are good to go, and, you know, we could just skip everything. Also, now we're fighting the three little pigs. They have a giant house mech.
It's not as scary as it looks, as you're about to find out.
Yeah, because by doing the Vine ability and then hitting them with 5 hits from Buckler Barrage while it's poisoned, the house only has 2 health left, which means we can just defeat it with Wolfgang's basic attack.
We got decent RNG here for the attacks as well.
Yeah, the main little bit of RNG in this fight is coming up next, though. Because now that we've defeated the mech, we have to fight the 3 little pigs on their own. Alright, and the reason why we got synergy here is specifically to use Flint synergy, because when you hit an enemy with Flint synergy, it stuns them. And this will keep the 3rd pig there from attacking this turn, which is very good because his attacks are extremely slow.
Yeah, his attacks range from shielding himself to creating ads to just everything you don't want to hear as a speedrunner.
Yeah, and this is why we got those explosive brews earlier, because it allows Wolfgang to damage all 3 of them at the same time.
And we got the burns too, that's nice.
Yes, that is the bit of RNG that mattered here, is because by getting burns on both of these pigs off of that first explosive brew, it'll save us an entire turn.
Overall, an extremely good pigs fight here.
Yes. Mm-hmm. All right, and then they will both die to burn after this attack cycle. And there we go. And just like that, we're done with Chapter 1, and we finally get our first level up.
Yeah, we actually do not level up like a lot at all in this game until Chapter 3.
Yeah, because Chapter 3 has a lot of required fights, which is a shame in the speed sense, but is very nice in the routing sense, because it lets us get a lot of levels. But yeah,
just like Paper Mario, when leveling up, you get 3 choices: HP, MP, or Mocha points, and the smiley face, which is effectively BP.
Yeah, TP for trinket points.
Yep.
So we have specific upgrades routed out for each level. Some of them don't matter as much as others, but this first one specifically, we grab TP because it'll speed up a couple fights in the near future. Just a little bit.
So now we're headed into the pre-Chapter 2 portion. We are going to be doing some sneaky stuff behind the executives' backs in the Forbidden Library here pretty soon. We're really just going to find this lost, what's his name? Oh man, I don't remember his name. Do you guys remember his name?
Who, Sherlock Holmes?
Oh, I'm blanking.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, it's a very
yeah, we're gonna go find Sherlock.
I'm sure nobody's ever heard of him before.
Nope. No idea.
So yeah, we're gonna go find Sherlock Holmes. He disappeared into a storybook and has not been seen. We're getting a special request here from a coworker of ours to go make that happen.
Our manager, Mr. Moon, basically said, oh yeah, Sherlock Holmes worked under me, and then he went into this book and just went missing. I don't know what happened. So as a responsible manager, I need your help to figure out what went wrong and go rescue him.
Also, as a responsible manager, you need to do this without HR finding out.
And not only do we have to do it without HR finding out, we have to go steal the key to the Forbidden Library from HR.
Hey, you know, normal corporate workplace stuff.
So yeah,
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I did this on a regular Tuesday.
Yeah, no, I think I have it written into my schedule for later this week, actually.
I see. I see.
All right, but there's two ways to actually get to the HR area. One of them is to grow that vine, and the other is to fight the guards in front of the door. As you can imagine, growing a vine is faster than doing an entire extra fight, especially because those enemies are unironically not easy to fight because they have very good defense.
So yeah, we're gonna distract the HR lady by burning her plants.
We're gonna commit some arson so we can then commit theft.
There you know.
Just don't tell HR.
Once again, normal Tuesday.
As long as HR doesn't find out, we're good.
Yeah, luckily, she doesn't suspect the fire-breathing dragon and the guy who can collect things from a range.
She doesn't suspect literally the only two people in a 100-foot radius.
Hey, it could have been that unicorn.
Alright, but now that we have the key, we can go to the Forbidden Library. I'm going to actually do a bit of an equip real quick. Because this equip will be useful both for the next coming fights and also the Chapter 2 boss. Because I don't need to change what I have equipped for my trinkets until then. The trinkets are basically very similar to the badge system in Paper Mario, where a lot of them will either give you benefits or will give you new abilities. Each character equips trinkets separately, so if I have something equipped on Flint, I can't use it on Tinder as well. But each character also has character-specific trinkets, which give them unique moves. Also, we're just gonna 100% do this library completely out of order.
Yeah, it's way too hard to do normally, so...
Alright. Speaking of things that are way too hard, avoiding this guy.
Yeah, there's at least like 3 or 4 enemies in this section alone that are just like extremely difficult to dodge.
And the reason why I don't want to like try and like hook too far out to the side to avoid him is if I were to fall down here without hitting that switch, I wouldn't be able to get back up easily, which would lose me a lot of time because I do need to go back up after I go into this room right here. Oh, I hit the wrong side of the torch by accident. If I'd hit the right side of the torch, it would have just reset me over to the platform over here. Instead, I have to take the long way. But specifically, the reason why we're going down here and opening that chest is because it is an upgrade for Flint's buckler. Now Flint will do an extra damage with every attack.
Yeah, funnily enough, I actually discovered that you can enter that room from the top side there and open that chest by yourself without the cutscene, but there is nothing inside of it. It is a scripted pickup from Tinder specifically.
And it is not the only scripted pickup thing like that in the game either. There's one later in the game that would be very, very useful because we can get the item from that cutscene early, but we don't have the story trigger, so we can't use it.
Yes, we'll mention that a little bit later.
Yeah, it is not relevant until probably an hour and a half down the line. Alright, but now the specific trinkets that I equipped on Flint is one of them is basically P up, D down from Paper Mario, where it increases his attack by 1 and lowers his defense by 1, so he will be doing an extra damage. And then on Wolfgang, I equipped something that when he blocks successfully, it increases his defense by 1. So those two things together will basically let Wolfgang be the tank, while Flint takes extra damage but deals extra damage. And that'll help us take out some of these enemies slightly faster.
Another interesting thing about this room specifically, you can do frame-perfect jumps, 1 frame on the ground to jump up these stairs and lock your camera in place. Has nothing to do with anything, it's just cool.
Alright, this enemy here does have 1 defense naturally, so I want to poison him so I can actually do damage to him. Also, these are barbarian librarians called librarians.
I knew it wasn't actually a mistake when I was a child. I knew that it was called the library.
Alright, and we raise our Mocha points by 4 after that fight. It's also worth noting that every time you level up, it does fully restore your HP and your MP, but it does not restore your SP, your synergy points. So those are a resource that we have specifically routed around so that we always have enough during specific parts of the game.
Eva catches us coming outside of the forbidden library. Kinda. She doesn't see us walking out the door, so there's a plausible deniability, and she believes us.
Also,
a
that
really
collar,
cool door.
yeah, that collar around Tinder's neck is also the thing, like restricting her powers. Mr. Moon, because we're helping, decided to loosen the restrictions a little bit on it, so now Tinder will also do 1 extra damage when she attacks. But now we are off into Chapter 2 proper.
It's time for the best childhood storybook.
Yeah, it's The Shadow over Innsbeek. Which is a little bit of a play on an actual book that some people may be familiar with, The Shadow over Innsmouth.
It's a very good book.
Just a wee bit Lovecraftian.
Yeah, just a little. But now it's all burnt.
Notably, if we did not find the skip that we found coming up in a little bit here, this would probably be the hardest chapter in the run.
Yes, there is a boss about halfway through the chapter that is probably the hardest boss in the game casually, if not maybe the second hardest, depending on how you go into it. But it's legitimately extremely difficult casually. Like, I lost to this boss a few times.
Before we found the skip, I was trying to route the battle for that boss. It took a lot more time than I would like to admit to find a consistent strategy.
But thankfully, we don't actually have to fight it.
It's really funny when we found the skip to do what we're going to do later. Me and another person in the speedrunning Discord, you should join it by the way if you're interested, found the skip within 2 minutes of each other. We both found the exact same skip. It was very interesting.
Yeah, that wasn't enough height.
Here you can see us abusing not only a buckler hop, but also resetting the gravity as well to get more length.
Yeah, that is...
I suppose.
Yeah, there's a buckler hop, and doing it again in midair like that is a buckler extend. Yeah, our whole goal here is to track down Sherlock Holmes. We're just kind of like skipping like 4 steps along the way. Because Sherlock Holmes has left some diary pages all around. We specifically only pick up 1 diary page, which is this one right here, because this one sets a story trigger that we need.
And then after that, we're just gonna kind of say sayonara to chapter 2.
Yep. Yeah, because now that we have this specific story trigger, we can go get the partner that we recruit in this chapter, and then go straight to the boss. Alright, the fastest way out of here is there's a teleporter up here, so we have to get a max height buckler hop to get on top of this painting here. It's a little tricky.
There's a very small sliver of collision where that painting is.
Yeah. But we could go ahead and grab this teleporter, head back to the beginning of the chapter, and go grab the trigger for the partner that we're going to go collect.
Is it Sherlock Holmes? I'm shaking in my seat.
Who knows? It could be. We are here to find him, so we might actually just find him faster than we expect.
He's just chilling.
Oh no, it's the head of HR.
Uh-oh.
She caught us.
I guess we were a little innocuous.
Our plausible deniability is kind of gone when we're inside of the book that they locked away in the forbidden section.
Yeah, I suppose.
So yeah, now we have to fight her, actually.
It's an extremely difficult fight, so good luck.
Yep, I get to do a whopping single attack with the buckler barrage, block a single attack from her, and then literally 1 more hit and it's over.
It's a very challenging fight, if you ask me.
Yeah, this is Eva, and plot twist, Eva is actually our next party member. Because she realizes, after hearing our story, is like, oh, you're here to save Sherlock Holmes. I don't approve of what you did, but I do agree we need to help this man. So I'll help you out until we rescue him.
Now, obviously, she's still the head of HR. She's very loyal to the company, so that's why we're talking about our plans to overthrow the company within 5 feet of her. Surely that won't come back to bite us.
Can't imagine why, but...
Yeah. Everyone knows skeletons don't have ears. Alright, but yeah, now it is time for the skip that lets us absolutely demolish this entire chapter.
There's a there's a lot of things going on in this skip. So you'll notice that we're underneath the water and we're moving a little more interestingly than we do. That'll be explained in just a second when we grab the item that we're going to grab here. But there is a tiny plane underneath all bodies of water that you can reach when you go out of bounds. Underneath it, that allows you to walk underneath it. And then what we just did there was jump into the water to get the quote-unquote void out, and it spawns us on this platform that we were supposed to get after that aforementioned awful boss.
So yeah, the way the story's supposed to go is when we grab that ability, we only are supposed to have Flint and Eva in our party, and we have to go rescue Tinder and Wolfgang. But because we have our whole party, we don't need to do that.
So we've just basically skipped every single part of Chapter 2 with this skip, which was why we were so locked in on finding it.
Yeah. And I will also mention that when we were going out of bounds to get under the water, the movement that I was doing specifically was more complicated than it looked, because I had to actually go to the edge of the water plane and then sneak in under it where the edge of the water is, and further to the left is just the infinite void, and if I were to fall down there, you're soft locked.
That's why you did a safety save before attempting it.
Yeah, thankfully, if you know how to do the movement correctly, it's very difficult to mess it up, because it's actually very, very consistent once you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, then that's when things can go wrong.
Yeah. There's also a couple spots in that water where you can hit collision that will push you into the void trigger, and also just completely kill your run.
Yeah, so basically any out of bounds movement that is very far out of bounds, there is a risk of soft locking if you do things very incorrectly. Yeah, like I said, if you know what you're doing, generally speaking, you know what to avoid so that never happens. And if you're ever concerned about it maybe happening, just pop a safety save. Doesn't lose too much time. And if things go wrong, you can just reload it.
Some very annoying... rough.
Yeah, this guy right here, I think I've maybe avoided him once. I encounter him almost every single run.
Pretty much the only way to avoid him is using Eva's overworld ability, which is that magical transformation wand that you saw him do earlier to turn the cat into a mushroom. You can use that on the ads to turn them into chickens and run past them, but it's very, very precise.
The hitbox is not great.
We're going to do another skip here. This is going to skip quite a lot of dialogue.
Yeah. It's actually... I've actually hit this dialogue trigger by accident before. It's not actually that much dialogue, but it is more dialogue than just jumping over here.
This is very true.
It's like 20 seconds of dialogue, maybe. It's not that bad, but it is definitely something we don't need to do. All right, and we mentioned earlier that this is based off of a book by Lovecraft. So you could probably take a wild guess who the final boss of this chapter might be.
Is it...
I think it might be Sherlock Holmes.
Honestly,
that would be...
He might have hit the gym, that's why he's so big.
I mean, there's definitely been crossovers, so...
Yeah, this is Cthulhu.
It could be. So yeah, this is the boss that we were talking about earlier that can no longer be poisoned. When I do my runs, I actually down patch. Obviously a lot harder for console runners to do, but the fight that they've routed out in current patch is not much slower, it's just much harder.
Yeah, and it is not 100% consistent in the sense that if Cthulhu decides to be very, very mean with specific bits of RNG, he can just insta-kill you.
Yeah, it's happened to me more than once. It's very awful.
Yeah, but if he does cooperate, this fight is actually not that bad, thankfully. But you do need to make sure you hit as many blocks as possible. Because if he, that poison breath attack, if you miss the block on that attack, and as you could probably tell, the timing on that, good luck. It is not easy to tell where the block timing is on it. But if you were to miss the block on this, it would poison both of your characters, and for the rest of the fight, you take extra damage.
Yeah, most of the attacks in this fight are extremely untelegraphed. Sam just used a healing item there on Flint. We picked it up earlier in construction. It's pretty easy to miss. Boba tea. But, yeah.
Yes, specifically, that item restores 10 HP and 10 MP. Oh, that is not good. This is literally the one turn we don't want him to do that.
We're using Wolfgang's synergy move here to upgrade our defense and attack. So it's a pretty good one.
Because what Cthulhu did right there is he buffed his attack by 5. The next attack that he does is one that hits multiple times.
Yeah, this is yeah, it's not something we want to see here for sure.
If he attacks Flint here, I might be in trouble. If he attacks Wolfgang, I should be fine because he has the defense boost. Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, he also didn't even use the attack that hits multiple times.
Oh.
That's weird.
Okay.
Oh,
one of those extremely
absolutely murked Wolfgang. That's a shame.
Okay.
That's fine. We can
save
this. Because thankfully he does not have buffed attack anymore, and I still have the defense boost on Flint. So we can make this work. It'll just be a little slow. Because Cthulhu here does have a unique effect in the second part of this fight here, which is kind of annoying. Which is whenever somebody hits him, they get a status effect of fear. And if you're inflicted with, actually I think it's terror, not fear, whatever, it's the same thing. If you're inflicted with that, you can't attack. And so that means that... Okay, cool.
Okay.
Whatever,
Well,
it's fine.
I think you can still win.
I've done enough damage that it's still winnable, it'll just be very scuffed.
Yes.
Let's switch to Tinder. I don't have enough SP. The way switching works in this game is if you switch characters, you could actually spend 1 bar of SP to still attack that same turn with that character. But because I don't have any SP left at this point, I am not able to do that. All right, switch to Wolfgang. Okay.
Generational lock in there.
I mean,
blocks.
That attack is actually not that difficult to block, but I just messed it up earlier.
Fair enough.
There we go.
Okay, nice.
And then I could switch with still being able to attack this turn because I got enough SP. I should be like 1 or 2 attacks away from winning at this point. But unfortunately, that will be a couple turns because of having to switch the long way. Hit A little early. That's not great. Is that it?
Does that do it? I think so.
Yes, that's it.
Yes, cool. Nice.
All right, that was not a good fight, but I got some bad RNG, so it's okay.
Yeah, large exhale there on that one.
Yeah.
So you could easily see...
He's not making that work, though.
You could easily see how that fight, when it goes wrong, you're just kind of scrounging for damage at the end there. If he did not buff his attack before sending us to the Shadow Realm, I would have been able to do some extra buckler barrages with Flint. And by having both characters still alive, you're just doing way more damage every turn. Also, it's Sherlock Holmes. He was fine. He was safe the whole time.
He is actually married to Cthulhu.
Yeah, they actually got... While we were looking for him, they fell in love, and yeah, now they're in a relationship. He calls her Lulu.
I couldn't imagine a more perfect couple.
Genuinely.
All right, and as we gear up to leave Chapter 2, there's actually one more slight detour I'm going to make before exiting this chapter for good. Because you see that lighthouse in the back there. There's some items in that lighthouse. I don't need all of them. I specifically am only getting 1 item from there. But that 1 item is a healing item that I will need to make one of the later fights consistent.
You'll also notice that whenever we complete a chapter, we get a new SP point.
Yes. All right, but that is it for chapter 2. It is the most broken chapter by a long shot because we skipped pretty much the entire thing. All right.
Yeah, it's funny how the most broken chapter also simultaneously has one of the hardest bosses.
Yeah, but thankfully, after this point, there is maybe one fight left in the run that can be problematic when it comes to RNG. And almost every other fight left in the run at this point is either completely, like, as long as you hit all of your action commands and everything, completely trivial, or at worst, just kind of slow.
Yep. We have pretty much made most of the fights in this game consistent. Cthulhu used to be pretty consistent, but now it is a little bit of an RNG fight.
All right. And we have a little bit of bookkeeping to do before we head to Chapter 3 in earnest. So we're going to upgrade some stuff, talk to Mr. Moon here. Because he's going to tell us the next chapter is a corporate retreat to Paradise Isles. Or Paradise Shores Resort, that's what it is, sorry. It's been a while since I played this game in English. Also, we're going to do a little funny thing. Now we're up here. Yeah, the 3 and Blind Mice actually set up a shop here in Tinder's bedroom. Oh, I don't have enough money yet. Okay, I need to come back and buy that cookie later. Which is unfortunate. Not a huge deal, though. I'm gonna grab a couple extra coins because of that. Alright, but before we head off to Chapter 3 and go on our corporate retreat, this is probably a good time for a break.
I was just about to ask. During these longer runs, everybody we like take breaks every hour or so, where everybody can get up, stretch, get some water, anything y'all need to do. Just a quick reminder before we do go to that break. If you are ever curious what's coming up on the GDQ Hotfix, or if you're ever interested in running on the show, like on the community grab bag, check out this week's schedule and submit your runs to be showcased over at gdq.gg/hotfix.
So yeah, we can stop the timer there for now.
Good. We'll take that quick break. We'll see you in just a few minutes, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. Tonight, this is the community grab bag. We have Escape from Ever After here. We're a little bit past the second chapter here. I'll hand it back over to you whenever you're ready.
Alrighty then. We can go ahead and get started again in 3, 2, 1. So yeah, we were talking about before the break, it is time for our corporate retreat. And as everybody knows, corporate retreats are actually about networking. And so the way we're supposed to move on to the next section of this part is we're supposed to talk to a whole bunch of people all throughout here. And then after talking to 5 of them, we can continue on to the next part. However, we're gonna just go over here and just take a loading zone and we're done.
It's actually canonically, Flint is very antisocial. He doesn't really say much.
Yeah, for anybody familiar with Paper Mario 64, I always joke that that's just rap skip, because it's like, oh yeah, the trick in a tropical island that involves jumping up a tree to reach a loading zone you're not supposed to normally reach, to skip talking to 5 specific NPCs. That also gives you a key item that you can do more than once. It's just rap skip. If you've never seen a Paper Mario 64 speedrun and don't know what rap skip is, go watch one. They're very fun. But also, it's time for a trust exercise.
We're doing the best part of the game here. Wolfgang isn't very good at it.
Yeah, that was Humpty Dumpty, by the way.
He did indeed have
well, surely that won't matter in the grand scheme of things. Poor guy, though.
Yeah, it's just everybody immediately moves on, ignores it, and it's just being swept up in the background.
Yep, rip to the boy.
Isn't that kind of how Humpty Dumpty went?
No, they at least tried to put him back together.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They didn't just get rid of him.
They didn't sweep him up.
They couldn't put him back together. It's not that they ignored him. Also,
I feel like that's a. Sorry,
I was going to say, now it's time for a team bonding exercise where we're going on a giant treasure hunt. In order to go on a treasure hunt, we all got the first part of the map, but we actually need to have a way to actually get to where that map is leading. So we need to go find a ship and a captain to actually helm that ship. Thankfully, there is a pirate that works in accounting. So
He's retired though, so we're gonna have to do some convincing.
thankfully, the convincing basically just comes down to, hey, we need a pirate in a pirate ship. And he's like, sure, I'm down. Just give me my compass. Just in that drawer over there.
Yeah, nice and easy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no, that's
Guess
not
not.
good. Compass is missing. Well, thankfully the IT department has security cameras, so we can find out what happened to it.
security cameras. Haven't we been talking about our plans to overthrow the company very broadly inside of this office?
No comment.
It'll be fine.
I'm sure it's not that big of an issue.
So yeah, it turns out the three blind mice stole the compass. They are responsible for most of the shenanigans in this game. Also,
Well, they wouldn't be three blind mice without
funny
it.
thing, to track them down, it equips the detective outfit that we were supposed to get in Chapter 2, but since we didn't get it, it just immediately unequips it when we go through the door.
Yeah, that's one of the funnier things in this game.
Oops. That one didn't have a coin. Alright, because I need 44 coins to buy a cookie, and then I also need 40 coins when we get to the next area in Chapter 3 to buy enough explosive brews. Because I need to buy 4 of them for the rest of the run, 3 of which I will use in Chapter 3.
So yeah, the mice are selling something that they stole on Facebook Marketplace for an exorbitant price.
Alright. Okay, now we have 2 of these chocolate chip cookies. When we use those chocolate chip cookies, they restore 20 HP to both characters, which is why they're such a good healing item. And we will use... Hopefully, we actually won't need to use both of those, but we will definitely be using, at minimum, one of them. But the second one is in case one of the later bosses does enough damage in its patterns. Alright, but now that we have the compass, we've recruited Captain Silver here, and we're off on a swashbuckling adventure to track down
This is actually
the treasure of Captain Blackheart.
This is actually quite an interesting chapter because we're on a ship and yet somehow we actually don't do that much sailing.
Hey, also, this is Patches. He's the one actually watching all the security cameras. He just likes eavesdropping. That won't matter.
Wait a minute. Was that us talking about how we were going to overthrow the company? Oh man, I shouldn't have said anything.
I don't think that was us. Those were just 4 very similarly looking other people.
Yeah, we're actually all twins.
Plausible deniability goes up once again.
But I hope,
So yeah, somebody find a skip for this chapter. Smiley face.
yeah, this chapter is unfortunately quite long because it has a lot of scripted fights that we cannot do anything about. So on the one hand, it's actually kind of nice that we have to do a lot of scripted fights in this chapter because it gives us a lot of XP. But it also means we have to take a while in the process. But before Captain Silver actually lets us sail on the 7 seas, we need to look the part. So we gotta don our pirate outfit. Actually, let's leave that equipped. Also, on Eva, I equipped a slew of trinkets that are going to be very, very useful for pretty much the rest of the game, almost. Because Eva gets an ability called Fang Feast, where once it's upgraded, which we upgraded before we went to Chapter 3, it attacks the enemy all the way in, that is furthest in the back, pierces defense, deals 5 damage, and restores 5 HP to Eva. I also equipped a trinket on her called Dark Magic, that instead of costing MP, all of her abilities now cost HP. Fang Feast costs 4 HP now. It restores 5 HP, and pierces defense. That move is extremely broken for the rest of the run now.
Yes, sounds like a really good move.
It's like, even if you're just spending MP on it, it's legitimately like a pretty solid move that is only held back by the fact that you can't target whoever you want with it. But with this specific combo, it's low-key kind of broken.
Also, that was Tinder's synergy move. Fire Tornado hits everything, even through defenses like shields and such.
It is, without a doubt, the best synergy move in the game. Because the unfortunate way the synergies are balanced in design is half of them are kind of completely useless, and half of them are just not worth their cost, and then the last one is Tinder's, which is actually good and worth the cost.
We will be using it a lot more going forward. You'll also notice that we're doing some swapping here.
Yes. So what I equipped on Flint there is an ability that has an RNG chance of poisoning enemies every time he attacks them. And while that sounds like, oh, RNG chance, that's not very good, but most of the time it basically just either the fight takes as long as we're expecting, or they get poisoned and it gets sped up and ends up being faster than we think.
And when you have to do 16 to 17 scripted fights in a row, it definitely adds up.
So yeah, basically it just comes down to, we've routed things so that the poison doesn't really need to proc at any point, but if it ever does proc, it saves us time. Alright. But now the Pirate Gauntlet begins. Yeah, thankfully each of these fights does also give you money after you win, so getting the 40 money that I need for my next shop trip is a lot easier. I want to switch to Eva. Fang Feast, because these larger pirates have 5 HP, so it's an automatic kill there, and these smaller pirates have 4 HP. So Flint can just use a Buckler Barrage and take them out in 3 hits.
As you can imagine, a lot went into routing how many resources you use and where in between level ups for this chapter.
And I can 100% guarantee whatever I'm doing for my routing is not optimal, because trying to find what is optimal here is an ordeal.
The lack of good ways to retry each fight in between makes it very hard to optimally route this chapter.
Like, if you wanted to route the entire chapter as just in totality, you have to start from the beginning, essentially. And just redo everything that you've seen so far, and then the rest of the chapter as well. Alright, now it's time for one of the more annoying fights.
RNG Fest, the fight. So we're using Blustery Ballad here. It's a DDR style move that when you fill up, this bar will randomly blow away each enemy on the screen.
That was pretty good, actually.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was very good.
I'll just attack you normally. No, when I did a run last night, literally not a single one of the gnomes got blown away. I had to kill all of them manually.
Jeez.
So I am very happy about how that went.
A couple things to note here. I think this is the first time we've seen those shields in the fight. Obviously, that just blocks attacks from the front. The steel ones block Tinder's fire. The wooden ones just eat the fire and go away. Obviously, they all eat Flint's buckler, and obviously Eva going behind them is a way around that. Wolfgang's attack also goes through shields. It's more of like a AoE attack that only hits one thing.
It pierces defense, including shields, but to be more specific.
Yes. It is just flat deal damage to the guy. There's more defenses that enemies employ. You'll see the unicorns will change their stance, like the way that they're holding their horn. If it's forward, then you can't hit them with close range. If it's up, you can't hit them with attacks like the hop. And same thing with swords.
All right. And then now also we have enemies hanging from the ceiling, which means that pretty much the only one that can hit them is either Flint or Eva with Fang Feast. Also, very important thing about these fights, if these pirates with the cutlasses, they will attack you. If you miss the block on their attack, they will inflict you with Exhaust. And Exhaust is an extremely annoying status effect because it makes all of your abilities cost twice as much. And while costing twice as much MP is bad because it drains your resources, the actual problem is because we're using Eva's HP for her abilities, if she gets exhausted, all of a sudden Fang Feast costs 8 HP now, and that is a problem. So ideally, I don't ever miss a block on any of those guys, but I know me, odds are I'll miss like one of them. Also, this is Mother Goose. She was one of her co-workers. Her own expedition kind of went south. So now we have to rescue her. Yeah, since we haven't really talked to any of the side characters around the office, we haven't really gotten to see any of their personalities or any of their side quests or hijinks or anything, but Mother Goose is kind of like the office gossip, who's always causing problems as a result.
Which is kind of funny considering the Mother Goose lore.
Yeah, now here we're having a heartfelt moment between Flint and Tinder. Because, you know, they're mortal enemies, but they're forced to work together, so they're kind of just like bonding over this whole situation. And it's interrupted by Mother Goose. Because she has a very important question. Should she wear flats or heels?
I'm not really too familiar with goose anatomy, but I just cannot imagine that heels would be nice.
Well, the thing is, no matter which option you pick, she tells you you're wrong, so...
Another thing to note about Blustery Ballad in this fight is that all of the adds, like the cannon and the barrel, will always be pushed away, which makes it extremely nice to use.
Yes.
And the shields as well.
Actually, switch to Eva. Ideally, whenever I use Blustery Ballad to remove all of the extra adds like that, ideally one of the enemies also gets taken out by Blustery Ballad in the process, but unfortunately I don't have control over that because it's RNG. Yeah, unfortunately Wolfgang only does 3 damage with his basic attack right now, which is not enough to kill any of these enemies. So we're just going to let Eva do all the heavy work.
In old route, we used to get the Wolfgang upgrade, but after we discovered Fang Feast tech, it just kind of got obsoleted for how much time it took.
Yeah, it was like an extra 2 or 3 minutes in Chapter 2 just to let him do a single extra damage. It's not worth it. It ended up not really being worth it, even though it did save some time in some of the Chapter 3 fights. And also made Cthulhu a little bit more safe, because Wolfgang would be doing extra damage every turn. Yeah, because of that, Wolfgang is kind of the weakest link at the moment, but he has very, very useful extra abilities, so even though his basic damage is not up to snuff, his other stuff more than makes up for it.
Yeah, being able to poison on demand and get rid of adds on demand is extremely valuable.
And also, we're fighting some Woodlands enemies, so it's time to use our fire.
Another important thing to note about synergy attacks is that obviously the more partners that you have, the stronger that your synergy attack will be.
The unfortunate side effect is the more partners that you have, the longer each synergy attack takes.
Yes.
So there are actually a few situations where if we had the ability to just not have our full party involved, it would be faster because we don't need the extra damage from it. But we don't get an actual choice of how many people participate. Also, he gives us an energy drink, but I'm not a fan of caffeine, so we're gonna just leave it there.
I'm saying he could have given us like boba tea or something.
Oh, you know, if he gave us an actual healing item, that would be legitimately very useful. But the way the energy drink works is it just buffs the character's attack that uses it for like 2 turns. And why would I buff somebody's attack temporarily when you could just attack with them instead?
Yeah.
There are fights where buffing attack is useful, but not in the sense of using an energy drink. Also, it's Humpty Dumpty. He's back. And he's angry.
Yeah, he's not really a big fan of Wolfgang. I don't really know why.
Yeah, he is still just as brittle as before, though.
Yeah. Oh, and this time he actually is gone.
It's a good thing Eva is not the head of HR anymore.
Oh, yeah. Interesting thing to note about these boats is you can land on them in specific ways that will make the boat animation start while Flint is not on the boat. Don't know if that's useful. I haven't found any uses for it yet, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter if something's useful. It just matters if it looks funny.
Exactly.
All right, but this is Port Cutlass. This is our first stop on our journey to find the treasure. This is definitely the pit stop that is the least interesting, but still has some stuff going for it. Because we have to actually track down one of Blackheart's old crew members who is still alive and lives here. But he doesn't want to see any visitors. I don't want to talk to you. I meant to jump. Stop talking, please. Okay. And in order to find that crew member, there's like a whole thing that we have to do that we're just not going to. Because we could just kind of jump up here and then hit the loading zone. There we go. And there we go. Yeah, what we're supposed to do is like go to the tavern, like eavesdrop on some people to figure out what the code to like get past the bouncer at the back of the tavern is. And then once we go back there, we can get up here and like go in through the window. We can just jump on his house instead. It's so much easier.
Interesting thing about that rum drop there. There's one more spot in this chapter where you need a rum, and you can actually dupe that rum, but it is probably the most precise thing in the entire game. And it also doesn't save any time.
All right, so now in order to get the crew member to trust us, we need to learn Blackheart's melody from his old parrot. However, the parrot flies away whenever anybody gets near it, so we have to find a way to sneak up on it. And our way to do that is pretty roundabout, where we have to use our seal powers to swim up next to it, but there's a crab trap in the way by this unicorn that wants a crab, so we have to go find him a crab so that he moves his crab trap. However, the last crab was actually just purchased from the crab seller, and it was taken to the Ever After Inc. office here, but somebody committed an office faux pas and microwaved crab in the office. And in order to take the crab, we have to find out who did it. It was Sherlock Holmes. He microwaved crab in the office. He committed the greatest sin of office culture.
I mean, that's kind of on brand, too.
Exactly.
But now we can give the crab to this unicorn. He will remove his crab trap. And he says to us, he's like, hey, this crab's pretty mushy. Did you put this in the microwave? And you could either tell him
why would
yes
you
or
say
no. If you tell him no, you didn't put it in the microwave, it's like, oh, well, I've never had crab before. It must just be like this. And if you tell him yes, it's like, oh, that must be how the people here prepare their crab then. And just accepts it either way.
Bro's life is sunshine and flowers, and I love him for that.
Yeah. We love people who still have whimsy.
Especially when that whimsy lets you have crap.
Of course.
Alright, but now we have learned Blackheart's melody from his parrot. So we can return to, I don't actually remember what his group member's name is. Is it like Greybeard?
That's Greybeard.
Yeah, okay. We can return up here and play that for him to show him, hey, we knew Blackheart, definitely, we're friends. Ignore the fact that there's absolutely no way we knew him before he died.
Yeah, I'm only like 16, but like whatever, dude.
But it does actually bring the parrot back, and he's like, oh, Polly, I haven't seen you in like 2 decades. And he's like, you know what? You're a good kid. And he gives us the next piece of the map. Also, the energy drink is still there because I didn't take it earlier. All right, but now we're on to the next leg of our journey. Now that we have the second piece of the map. We're off to Molten Maw Volcano. With a lot of pit stops along the way because there's so many fights. So many fights.
It's like a really stupid amount of fights.
All right, next up is... There's some librarians out on the high seas for some reason. So we need to fight them. Thankfully, these guys have exactly 5 health, which means that Eva can just take them out in 1 hit. Makes my life significantly easier. And that one got poisoned, so that means I can kill him in 1 less hit than usual.
Saves 3 seconds, by the way.
Alright. And then just finish up the last one with Eva. Alright.
Yeah, upgraded Fang Feast does a lot of heavy lifting for the late game.
Yeah, specifically Chapter 3. We don't use it too much after Chapter 3, but Chapter 3 specifically, it is the bread and butter of this entire chapter. Alright, now Captain Silver wants us to go retrieve his rum from the storage down in the hold here, but... Oh, who's this? Yeah, it looks like Patch is actually stowed away on the ship. And now he wants to join our party. Because he saw everything that we were talking about in the confines of our definitely very secret office. So he basically, like, low-key blackmails us into joining.
Oh, he also refuses to tell us his reason for doing so.
You know, he's being very cryptic and blackmailing us, which means that makes him extremely trustworthy.
Yep.
But thankfully, he's actually casually, like, the best partner. Because he has increased defense, and he also does 4 damage per hit, and has some very useful abilities. But we actually don't use him a ton during the speedrun. We definitely do use him. He is very useful in certain specific fights. But he's still no Eva with Fang Feast.
His attacks just take so long. They do a lot of damage, and he's very good to have on the front line, but he is very slow.
That being said, even though some of his abilities are slow, they are still, the utility of them are very good at specific points in the run, which you will definitely be seeing later.
Absolutely. Same thing as Wolfheart.
Yeah, Wolfgang.
That's what his name is.
Alright, so these parrots only have 3 health, so I don't even need to hit him with a Buckler Barrage. I can just do a basic attack. And then Fang Feast the guys up here. The way you're intended to hit these enemies up top are using Patch's ability, which hits all grounded and ceiling enemies with a tremor that does 2 damage, and that will dislodge them. Because without Patch's or Eva's ability to hit them, they're completely invulnerable. Because the only one that can hit them normally is Flint, and they have shields, so he can't actually damage them. But by the power of Fang Feast. Yeah, no, we're good. Alright. So thankfully we will actually level up after the next fight, which is very important because the next fight we don't get a break afterwards. The next 2 fights happen back to back. And that might seem a bit odd considering all these other fights had just been one at a time, but there's a reason for it that you'll see after we defeat these enemies. Because we've got some robo-pigs. And because this is actually the first time we're fighting these robo-pigs, it's the first time we actually see the shielding mechanic from these little shield bots.
Yeah, a lot of these fights in Chapter 3 are actually extremely funny because, in the speedrun specifically, because you just have not seen any of these enemies if this is your first time watching a run or playing the game. So it kind of just seems like they're just making things up as they go.
Yeah, the way these shield bots work, they make enemies completely invulnerable until you take them out. Each of them protects one enemy at a time, but thankfully they're very easy to actually take out, so you just have to make sure you damage them before you damage the enemies. And that's why we used Patch's Tremor ability to instantly take them all out at once, and then we can just clean up the rest of the Robo-Pigs with Eva, because they each have 5 health. Also, something to note about the levels, we actually don't need any more TP for the rest of the run. We only need to upgrade it twice, and that brings us up to 6 TP per character, and that's it. That's all we need. That is enough TP to equip everything that we need from this point out for the rest of the run. So every other level from here on out will just alternate between MP and HP. Also, the 3 little pigs are back. They're on a yacht. It's time for a rematch. Which is fine by me.
For some reason,
this battle theme is a banger.
Oh yeah, this is easily one of the best songs in the OST. This fight's kind of funny because it's like basically just a very much upgraded version of their boss fight, without obviously the house.
All right,
but
that is
because of
unfortunate.
Yeah, you can use the blustery ballad on them to potentially make them, like one of them will take, I don't remember if they get knocked out completely or if they just take a bunch of damage.
You know, the reason I'm using it is specifically to get rid of the shield on Pudge in the front. Because if you don't take out the shield, you can't hit the one in the back with Flint's buckler. Which is very unfortunate because I would be able to kill the one in the back this turn if I had blown away that shield, but because I didn't, I kind of just have to do this fight slightly slower.
Ah, right. I forgot that shields were actually RNG to blow away. It's only ads that are not.
Yeah. So yeah, the shield bot and the barrel were guaranteed. Yeah, the problem is just that shield. Also, he drops a giant crate on us. Don't ask how he got a crate like that here.
Yeah, it's not important. What's important is that it's annoying. Yes, we can actually see some of the tech here from Wolfgang's ability. The knockback to the back, so we can hit them with the Fang Feasts.
Alright, and then he dies from the burn. Alright, and then one more Fang Feast and I should be done next turn. Or I could probably just attack with Wolfgang, honestly. Okay, never mind, I can't attack with Wolfgang anymore.
Yeah.
I forgot he respawns the barrel. Because this fight is normally over by now, because normally the shield gets blown away, but I got bad RNG. Thankfully that fight, even with bad RNG, it's just slow. Like, there's no risk of anything going wrong. It just takes a little bit longer. Oh, so now their yacht broke down, so they're like, hey, do you mind towing our yacht with your sailboat? Because this is how boats work.
Yeah, I was about to say, statistically, I don't think this is possible, but...
No. I think this is how boats work.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never sailed a pirate ship, so I can't say.
Yeah, luckily it's not messing up our mobility. It seems like we're sailing just fine. I will also note that there is a slight collision anomaly here on that staircase that you can see right there. The top side wooden board has a very small piece of collision that if you hit it just the right way, zips you forward a little bit.
Yep. I have had that happen to me, and it's weird when you're not expecting it.
Exactly. Oh yeah, ghost ship.
Yeah, what's a pirate adventure without a ghost ship? Yeah, this is actually Blackheart's ship. The pirate that we are searching for the treasure of. Because it turns out,
Hey, maybe
he is not resting in peace.
maybe the treasure's in here.
He was just carrying it with him.
Yeah, this is the ghost of Blackheart.
I'm pretty sure that's the Flying Dutchman.
I was just about to say that.
Also, this spike puzzle has a specific pattern that is only certain tiles are safe to walk on. It's the same every time, so you can just memorize it pretty easily. Oh, I went a little early. Oh, and that's annoying.
Oh wow, that's
I
rough.
was not close enough to the rock, apparently. Oh well, that's fine. This area is a little annoying if you get your timing off, but like it's not that big a deal. Hit the switch, which drops the platform. It's actually kind of a shame the ghost ship is actually not that long of a section. Because ghost ships are always a really cool aesthetic in games, but this one is very short.
Yeah, this is more reminiscent of the ships on the Wind Waker game that you can just kind of like invade.
Yeah, like I do get very big Wind Waker / Phantom Hourglass vibes from the ghost ship.
Absolutely.
Because it...
Big shout to... You finish.
I was just going to say that's it for the ghost ship.
Oh.
Yep, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blackheart wants us to grab his remains and then bury him where his treasure is located. So we just kind of... We have a skeleton, now we have a second skeleton with us. This one is not animated. Alright, now that we have the remains of Blackheart on board, we're just back to sailing and doing more fights.
Still towing that yacht, by the way.
Naturally.
Yeah. Big shout out to Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass, by the way. Big shout out to those games.
Oh yeah, amazing games.
Oh yeah. Phantom Hourglass, one of the few Zelda games I've actually finished.
It's same
Same.
here, actually.
Phantom Hourglass, criminally underrated.
Hard agree.
It's a great game.
It is very good. To do this. Ideally,
Is this
one
a
of
safe
these
space?
enemies gets blown away. Yes, this is a safe space for your hot takes that I'm sure
All
are
right.
coming.
Spirit Tracks is a great game.
We should get
People always hate on
get
that.
Shasta back here. He was on commentary for the run before this. He'll talk your ear off about both those games. Because he speedruns Phantom
Man.
Hourglass and Spirit Tracks is his favorite.
It's so good, dude. Also, can I just say that the blustery ballads this run have been, except for the dwarves,
Yeah.
which is the one it really matters on, I guess.
Yeah, like it cooperated the one time it like needed to cooperate the most, but every other one since then has been very bad.
Also, yeah, Wolfheart, gosh, that's not his name. Wolfgang dying there doesn't really make that big of a difference
'cause-
because we level up right afterwards.
Yeah, because Eva's the one doing all the damage. He doesn't. He's just there to tank hits at that point. But yeah, I never finished Wind Waker. I only finished Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, and then also Minish Cap. Those are the only Zelda
another
games
great game.
mainline Zelda games I've finished.
Yeah, I'm a big Ocarina of Time player, probably more hours in that game than any other game, but other than that,
Ah, so you're a normie.
I've played a lot of Zelda. Am I a normie, man? Probably. Yeah, probably.
Ah.
At least I didn't say Twilight Princess. That's a great game, but
I mean, Ocarina of Time is more of a normie answer than Twilight Princess.
really?
I mean,
Hard
that's
to agree with that statement.
Ocarina of Time is the one that they're remaking.
Oh, yeah, it came out 25 years ago.
Yeah, but they already did that. They made it 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah. That game wasn't very good, though.
I never played Ocarina of Time 3D, so I can't actually judge it.
Fair enough, yeah. I've done some speedruns of that game. Grezzo did not a very great job on patching out bugs.
Alright, but now that we're off the ship, we can actually do some platforming again.
Oh yeah, we're playing the game. I actually really like this section of the chapter 3. I think this
this is the best part of the chapter.
This section's very... Yeah, absolutely.
I'd agree.
Also has a very good area theme. Like, all of the music of this game is phenomenal, but some of the music is still better than others. I am a sucker for muted trumpet because I'm a trumpet player, and this song actually uses muted trumpet, which is not common. That is part of why I appreciate this song a lot.
Yeah, you normally hear pretty loud horde sections and things, specifically very loud, higher brass like trumpets.
Yeah.
But yeah, keeping it kind of low, keeping it kind of muted is not very it's not something you see very often, and
yeah,
is deeply appreciated.
Interesting thing about that section we just walked through with the very long minecart rail, there's actually a secret section that you can get to later in the game as you go to 100% it. That's actually available at every point of the game. There's an item there that you can get that's pretty good. That at one point, very briefly, was routed into the any percent speedrun of this game.
Oops. All right, well, I'll just do it the old-fashioned way and buckler hop because I messed up the intended way, which is faster than buckler hopping if you do it right. Oops. Oh well, that's fine. And I don't actually need to stop these platforms, it just makes it a little bit easier. I have gotten across that without stopping the platforms, and you are completely allowed to. But if you whiff and fall in the lava, then you're losing time.
I've also spent a ridiculous amount of time in this room that we're about to go back into with the big rock. Trying almost every single piece of collision in the entire room to get out of bounds there, and unfortunately never found it.
Alright, and I am taking this encounter right here for some extra XP. This is specifically routing XP so that I level up after a specific boss fight later, to make it so that I don't need to go out of my way to heal.
I was going to say that poison was extremely funny.
It's always really funny when you just get random poisons that do not matter. There is a specific poison that I really hope we get on the boss fight of this chapter, because it's really funny. And I've gotten it the last 2 times I've done the fight, but which means I won't get it now. But we'll see.
Oh, right. I think somebody actually did find an out of bounds in that room, but it doesn't matter because of some...
Yeah, the trigger for the next area I don't think spawns in until you blow up those rocks, is I think
right,
the issue.
Yes.
So if we could just like go past that wall and not actually have to blow up those rocks, we could skip retrieving both of the blind mice. Which, as you can see, is not an insignificant detour.
Yes, not at all.
Right, now for
this game is
some scripted fights.
This game is really interesting in how they handle their loading zones. Some of them are active at all times. That makes no sense for them to be active at all times. And then others are not active when it would make sense for them to be active.
Also, you ever poisoned a living volcano before?
Once or twice.
Yeah, casual Friday.
Okay, I want to first strike this guy with Patches, because Patches does 4 damage with his attack, and these mushrooms have exactly 4 health. That makes it so I can finish both of these fights in 1 turn by killing one of the mushrooms with the first strike. If I don't first strike them with Patches, it just takes an extra turn. Not that big a deal. It's just time loss. Alright. Both of those fights down. We have rescued both of the mice. Let's go blow up that wall. While also avoiding these guys. Thankfully, these little coal enemies are not too difficult to avoid. Some enemies in this game are just almost impossible to avoid if they see you, and thankfully these are not some of those enemies.
Yeah, don't worry, you guys will see the worst enemies ever.
Yeah, Chapter 4 is very, very bad for avoiding enemies. It is we are very lucky that we could skip so much of that chapter. And alright, now that we've reached the center of the volcano, it's the last piece of the map. How convenient. So yeah, let's just grab that, and then we're good. Oh no, I think the volcano is erupting. I think that means we have to do like a whole escape sequence now to avoid the rising lava and to safely escape, or we could just do this. Oh hey, look at that, we escaped.
This was one of the funniest things I found while doing initial routing for this game. I accidentally fell in the lava at one point, like immediately, and then it just sent me to this screen, and I was like, oh, well, that's pretty nice.
It's kind of a shame because like there is actually like an interesting platforming section as an escape from the erupting volcano, but obviously we don't need to worry about that when we can just do that instead.
What happened there is that the mouse was like, hey, here's the yeah, you can't get back up here, so give me the map and I'll take it to the ship, make sure it gets there safe. And then they just kind of leave us there and take the yacht after fixing it. They've been fixing it secretly, and then we're chasing them now.
Unfortunately, there's still a lot of other pirates wanting to fight us for no reason.
Yeah, they're just extremely upset for some reason. It's also even funnier that scene in the context of a speedrun, because we very obviously can make it back up that ledge, but I guess Flint doesn't know that.
Well, ironically, them stealing it and us having to go through the volcano, fall into the lava the way we do, is significantly faster than anything that would have come about from us going back the way we came.
Yeah. If it was even possible. Unfortunately, that loading, or not unfortunately, but that loading zone just isn't active.
So it's actually kind of funny that the mice outran us back to the ship, because we were out of that volcano in like 3 seconds after they left.
Yeah, they are speed demons.
Also, we actually had Blustery Ballad blow away an enemy that time.
I was about to say, that's our first W.
Yeah, good ballad.
Alright, this next fight is a funny one.
Oh yes, this fight.
Because out on the high seas, you know, you gotta pay the toll. Yeah, this is Trollbert. This is definitely not the first time we've found him. I'm sure we've definitely seen him before, right? That's why he's so mad to see us, because we stiffed him last time and definitely fought him on that bridge earlier that we didn't skip.
Yeah, we technically did stiff him, but I'm not sure how he would know that.
Yeah, so he's like really angry because like, oh, because you didn't pay me and you beat me up at my old toll place, I went out of business. And now I had to relocate here. And we're just doing the exact same thing again.
It's his fault for engaging, honestly.
It's even funnier because at both times the three blind mice went ahead of us and was like, wait, how did you get past the toll? I was like, what are you talking about? We just paid.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what do you mean, what did we do?
Yeah, they got that easy pass going straight through.
Also, before I continue, I do need to make sure I adjust my loadout for Wolfgang specifically. Otherwise, this next fight will be very painful. Because we are not using Blustery Ballad a single more time for this run, thankfully.
Yeah, that ability is pretty much only useful for those fights with normal enemies.
Yeah, because now we've caught up to the three blind mice.
You can technically use it in one of the final fights, but it's just a complete RNG fest, so it's not worth using.
Okay, the reason why we switched back to the Vine is because the Vine can hit all three of the mice while they're stacked like that, and in addition, it poisons all of them. But we actually don't want to attack with Eva this first turn and do damage, because that would actually cause them to no longer be stacked, and that would make it so that this Vine move here doesn't hit all three of them. And the way things work out, it's just slightly faster to do things in this specific way.
Yeah, the Vine ability is so much better than Wolfgang's basic attack by like 1,000,000 points. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, because in addition to poisoning, it also knocks the swords out of their hands. Which, that's not really, like, too important, but, like, casually, that matters a lot, because that lets you actually get up close to them and damage them. Alright, so one more Vine, and the bottom one is dead. And then one more Fang Feast, and the other one is dead. Yeah, you can see why I need to make sure I remembered to re-equip the Vine ability, because that makes that fight so much faster. I have forgotten to do it before. That fight is excruciating if you don't have the Vine ability.
Yeah, it is genuinely really hard to beat them when they only have when they have their shields up and their swords out. It is pain.
Alright, and now we have one more fight before the boss of the chapter. We are almost done with all of these scripted fights. Yeah. I imagine Chapter 3 in a Paper Mario-inspired game being the one that has a lot of scripted fights that you can't skip.
Where does that ring a bell?
Yeah, no, maybe something with like a really old door.
Yeah. Maybe like 100 years? 10,000?
Something like that. Those are both pretty long periods of time. Although that joke doesn't land as much anymore because they actually can skip that in any percent now in that game.
Yeah, it was a lot funnier when we
before they first
started playing this game.
Yeah, before they found the way to just completely demolish that game more than they already did.
Yep. Speaking of that, somebody come 1,000-year door us.
Yeah, just find a way to just completely break our game apart.
Or specifically just Chapter 3.
Yeah, that's the main one,
yeah.
But we'll take anything.
Yeah, because of the way that some things end up in Chapter 4, it's kind of hard to save more time than we already do there. Same thing, I mean, there's not really much left to skip in Chapter 2. And Chapter 3 is really just where most of the time save lies for this game, as long as we can, as much as we can like conceive right now.
All right, and that was the last scripted fight before the boss fight, because we're off to go find Blackheart's treasure now.
That was the Power Rangers. They're gone now.
I think that was the Power Pirates.
The Power Pirates.
Alright. Yeah, thankfully the partners being able to platform with you does not actually affect anything, so they could just fall in the water and nothing. It doesn't matter.
Oh gosh, yeah, that would be such a terrible mechanic, man.
Alright, and by playing Blackheart's Melody one more time, we can open the way to his fortune. But not before we lay him to rest, in accordance with his final wishes. And his last wish as we lay him to rest is, hey, don't give my treasure to Ever After Ink bozos. Guess what we're gonna do?
We would never betray an old ghost that we don't know or have any attachment to, right?
But it will get a promotion. We need a promotion to take them down from the inside.
Oh yeah, I guess since we were just talking about, I'll bring it up after the boss fight. I think that's when it is more pertinent.
Because this is actually one of the most interesting boss fights mechanics-wise. Because the whole switching characters things in this game is a really fun twist on the Paper Mario formula, because you can switch out both characters at any time and basically use anybody in any fight as a result. So what if the boss just forced two specific characters to be out at any given time? And that's the Captain Silver fight.
It's very interesting because the story behind this is that since we respect him so much as our captain, we listen to his orders despite trying to beat the ever-living frick out of him.
So basically, whoever gets whether we respect Blackheart's wishes or not comes down to the results of this pirate duel. So this fight has 5 phases. Each phase has 12 HP. And each phase, he switches around our party members forcibly, and we cannot change them at that point. Also, this is why we got an explosive brew. Ah, the explosive brew didn't poison him. That would have been really funny. That's what I was talking about earlier. It doesn't matter if it poisons him, but I've had it happen twice in a row now, and it's really funny. Because like, oh hey, how did this trinket poison him? I literally just threw a bottle at him.
We used to have a really interesting strat for this fight that guaranteed beat him on one cycle for one of these fights, or like one of these sections. But it ended up being really hard to route in.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like each of these phases only has 12 HP, which is not a lot. And since Eva's Fang Feast does 5 damage, any phase where Eva is out is you just do 2 damage with the other character however you can. In this case, I'm using a lot of Explosive Brews. And then Eva just does 2 Fang Feasts, and that takes him out for that phase. Also, these parrots don't matter. You only need to focus on Captain Silver.
Yeah, prior to Fang Feast, this was an extremely hard section to get consistently.
Right.
We used to have Eva's other ability,
which is not nearly as good. Okay, good. Getting poison on the first hit there is really good.
That's so good. That's so good.
Because that cuts out an entire attack that we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can just do one more hit with the buckler, and we're on to the final phase of this fight already.
That is probably one of the best poisons in the entire run.
Yes. Speaking of poison, Wolfgang's here, so it's time for more Vine. This fight will be over in 6 seconds or less. Not actually. It's not actually that quick. But I had to make the joke.
Too many animations for that.
Alright, and then last hit from Tinder, and that's it for the Captain Silver fight.
GG Chapter 3.
Yeah.
Yep, good fight. Good fight.
Yeah, that is, like I said, legitimately like one of the most fun fights in the entire game, because it actually plays with the game's battle mechanics in a really interesting and novel way, by forcing you to have specific partners out for each phase.
So earlier we were talking about ways to break this game entirely open, right? And funnily enough, we've actually found a couple things that will be very apparent soon that would make this game very, very broken. But unfortunately, the devs kind of found that out. They sniffed it out before it actually happened.
Yeah, some of the stuff the devs did a good job of accounting for ahead of time, and some they didn't. Also,
for example,
this is, by the way, this is the CEO of Ever After Inc. I'm sure she won't matter at all at any other point.
Yeah, no, probably not. She seems like a chill girl. You can't actually access chapters early, even if you find their books early. No reason I'm bringing that up, Teehee. Because you actually can't travel to a book unless you've already unlocked the chapter cutscene for them. It's a very interesting story flag set.
Yeah, so there are actually books we can get early, but because we don't have the story flag set, it does not matter. Alright. Now, before we move on to the intermission between chapters 3 and 4, which is going back to the library, I'm going to do a quick detour to grab a couple extra things from the Sun Gem shop. Specifically, an extra ink bottle and another ability. This is for patches. We won't use it for a little while, but this ability is Bear Boost, and it will be very, very important later on. But I will save that.
Yeah, this is one of those... Bear Boost is one of those things that we... somebody was doing a challenge run, I believe, on the official Discord for this game, and one of our community members found that and was like, wait, this ability seems broken. And it is.
And then we thought, oh wait, no, there's no way it actually works that way. That's not going to be that big a deal. And then I was like, oh wait, no, it is actually like that. Oh.
Yeah, it does the thing that we had definitely thought it wouldn't do.
I almost got that, like, almost immediately. Yeah, because I have to do this jump again because I need to get up to the top floor quickly. There we go. Yeah, so the reason why we're going back to the library is actually when the CEO showed up there, that was actually... Oh, I hesitated and missed the cycle. Just reset it real quick. The CEO basically came to tell us, like, hey, remember that position that you guys were gunning for? Yeah, I gave it to my nephew, so sorry. And so as a result, that position would have been the position that gives us access to the real world. And now that we can't get that the Director of Storybook Affairs position anymore, we have to find some other way to get to the real world. And Ever After Inc. has a secret book hidden in a secret area of the forbidden section of the library that houses the R&D department. And that is where they manufacture the chips that give people access to reach the real world. So we're gonna steal the R&D book and go steal the access that gives us the ability to go to the real world, and so we can shut down Ever After Inc.
Also, can I just say that this place is OSHA's nightmare?
Like I said, it's a good thing Eva is not out of HR anymore.
Yeah, none of this is passing inspection.
There we go. See, as you can tell,
Funny part about...
there's like supposed to be a whole puzzle there that we just skipped by jumping.
Yeah, funny part about that room, you can use items, you can drop items from your inventory, first of all, stuff like the cookies, and you can push, that stops moving collision, so things like that, pushable blocks, anything that moves, you can stop with a dropped item. That used to be how we skipped that puzzle.
All right, as we go into Chapter 4 here, I think that's probably a good time to take our second break.
Yep, sounds good. So during these longer breaks, everyone, we like to take a break every hour or so everybody can get up, stretch, get some water, anything y'all need to do. Just a few quick reminders before we take that break. If you are looking to catch up on any of our past Hotfix shows or any of our marathons, you can always do so over at youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. And if you are over on YouTube watching, consider liking, subscribing, or becoming a channel member to support GDQ. Also, if you are looking to get more involved with the GDQ community, you can always join the official Games Done Quick Discord and add the Hotfix rule to get more updates on upcoming events, chat with staff, and more. Use !Discord in Twitch chat for an invite and more information.
All right, we can stop the timer there.
Perfect. We'll back in just a few minutes here with the rest of the run. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is the community grab bag. If you're not familiar, this is a show where we put on runs that have been submitted by you, the audience. And again, if you don't know, you can always submit runs to be shown on the GDQ Hotfix over at gdq.gg/hotfix. Tonight's run was picked from that list, so we have Escape from Ever After. We're nearing the end here. I'll hand it right back over to you whenever you're ready, if you want to give a quick 3 to 1 countdown.
All right, let's go ahead and hop back into things in 3, 2, 1. Let's get going. And we're immediately getting going by equipping a spacesuit, because we're in space.
So yeah, we snuck into the R&D facility. Obviously, nobody knows about this, so we should be perfectly fine.
Yeah, because they figure, oh, if somebody was able to get here, that means they're supposed to be here, right? So we'll just send you down to the planet's surface where the actual facility is located, and there's no issues. Also, it's a bit of a double standard. Only Flint has to equip the spacesuit. Nobody else does.
Yeah, well, Flint's the only human.
Oh, that's Mr. Moon. What? That's not good.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
He's saying something in Mandarin. I'm not really quite sure.
Looks disappointed. That's worse than if he was mad at us.
Yeah. It always hurts worse.
So yeah, it turns out he somehow found out that we're plotting against the company, and we went here. So as soon as we land, he has people prepared to just take us into custody and put a stop to all this. Luckily, Patches is going to leap into action and calls our ship to crash land instead.
Seems like a better option.
Yeah, so as we each take a separate escape pod to jettison down to the planet below, yeah, things are going a little south.
Literally.
Well, this looks more north to me, but...
That's fair. I suppose we're coming south in the grand scheme of fall.
I guess if you're in the southern hemisphere, it is winter right now, so...
True.
But yeah, this is Glacius 9. It's an ice planet, and because we all crash landed separately, we only have Flint at the moment. We do not have the rest of our party members. But because we have Flint, who is, you know, the broken one, we could still do some funny shenanigans to go faster. Like, grab this berry that we are very much not meant to get yet. That berry will not be relevant for a while, but it is very important we get it now.
I was unaware that this didn't softlock us anymore.
Yeah, one of the rare occasions of a dev patching the game so that a trick becomes possible because they fix something. That is very much not a problem that would ever be encountered casually.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, that berry is meant to be either the second or third berry that you get, and not the first one. And on older patches of the game, if you got that berry first, once you get to the alien village here, you would actually softlock your game. Because the way progress in this village is supposed to work is you arrive at the village, the alien leads you to this house here. And Wolfgang is inside this house, but it looks like he is not doing too well. So we have to find 3 berries scattered throughout the area to help resuscitate him. The first berry is in the village here, and we have to give it to him this one first. And the reason why the game would break is because we picked up the second berry first. The game would be like, oh, you picked up the second berry. That means you already gave him the first berry. And the triggers never properly initialize, and you can't actually open the exit to the village because you can't give him the first berry anymore. I don't know what they did or what possessed them to do this, but for some reason they fixed that. Because that is not something that would ever happen casually. But I'm very glad they did, because it saves a lot of time.
It was particularly... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just say, if they didn't fix that, we'd have to go, at this point, go all the way back and grab the berry now.
Oh yeah, and it's not fast to do that. I mean, it's faster than the other way, but, you know. It's particularly interesting from these devs because when we first started running this game, we, you know, because they put out the demo and there was a whole demo speedrunning community for this game as well. That had those enemies are so annoying.
Ouch, yeah.
As we were saying earlier, these enemies are extremely difficult to avoid
Messed up the
in this
runaway.
chapter.
It's
But yeah, when we first started running this game, they had they fixed a lot of glitches that were primarily only used in speedruns and not really able to be found casually. So we kind of just automatically assumed that if they found our speed tech, they would patch it out. But instead, they did the opposite thing.
that jump is not too bad, but it's annoying when that guy is chasing you down. Because if you don't get that jump first try, then you are guaranteed to encounter that enemy at least once. Thankfully, I was able to encounter him far enough away from it that he just was far enough away to never aggro on me again.
So yeah, we're going into a sequence now where we're going to have to go and get all of the partners back. and there's a lot of cutscenes along the way.
Okay, getting poison on that guy immediately is nice. Helps cut out a couple attacks. It is technically possible to skip this enemy here. It is not actually required because you can just like jump around his triggers, but like you have to jump around his triggers every time you go through this area, which is very slow. And also
it's more than once, which
exactly.
makes it slow.
And then on top of that, the 8 XP that he drops is actually enough to give us an extra level, which is actually important for the XP routing. All right, these railings are being annoying. Come on.
Yeah, and as you can see, this would have been part of the skip on the other side there with the railings, and it's not exactly the least finicky trick in the run.
All right, but that skips having to like take a whole detour. Now we're actually in the R&D labs proper, and in true laboratory fashion, it's got some banger music. Like I said, all of the music in this game is great, but some of it is even more great than others.
Real.
Agreed. Labs always tend to have the best music.
There's a world that I explored for a while where we can get patches last and end up completing this facility in the state that it's in right now, where there's very few enemies. But unfortunately, as we'll see later, I'll bring it up when it becomes relevant again. It's not exactly possible.
Yeah, because the way that you're supposed to get all of the partners is actually in the reverse order that you originally recruited them. So we'll be getting Patches first, Eva second, Wolfgang third, and Tinder last. Right, the way things lined up, it was probably just better for me to take things as intended instead of going over that wall again. Okay, but now that we have Patches, unfortunately, there's not actually anything else we can do in the R&D labs at the moment. So we will be back later, so this will not be the last time you hear the banger. But unfortunately, we will not be hearing it for too much longer right now.
Funnily enough, this is actually an extremely broken area, for more reasons than one. The collision on the walls and on the various things inside of this place are very out of whack.
All right. Yeah, with the power of buckler hopping, we can... While we can't do this section completely out of order, we can absolutely just skip a whole bunch of stuff anyways.
This is... we're lucky it ended up being fast anyways, but it would have definitely been nice to... there's a lot of ability to cut out a lot of the retrieving partner sequences by getting them in unintended order, but unfortunately, there's a lot of cutscenes in this game where partners will speak, and if they speak while they're not in your party, sometimes it will soft lock, and so we have to get them in the intended order.
If we could get things in whatever order we wanted, we could actually get Tinder first. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. So we have to follow the intended order the game wants us to, which is definitely slower than if we could do whatever order we wanted.
Yeah, being able to get Tinder first, and then get Wolfgang, and then get Eva, and then get Patches, and complete the R&D lab in its first initial visit state would be not only extremely fast, but make a lot of the routing safer.
Right, this guy is another one that is really annoying to avoid.
Yeah, these flying enemies are just put in very unfortunate spots.
They are faster than you, so the only way to break aggro is by doing a buckler hop once they spot you. Oops. Well, I missed a cycle because I just missed an easy jump by accident. Cool.
Platforming is hard.
It's like I'll hit all the hard stuff, but I will mess up basic platforming any day of the week.
It's okay, average marathon run.
All right. And like we said, getting Tinder would be very fast if we could actually get her right now without breaking the game. Because while we're intended to get Wolfgang to grow a plant to climb up to her, we can reach her with buckler hops. But that does not help us when the game would soft lock.
Funnily enough, that cutscene right there also soft locks if you don't get patches. But you can get Tinder without triggering that cutscene. It just, obviously, then after you get Tinder without patches or Wolfgang, then no more game.
And like we said, we have to walk past that spot with the guard 2 more times. That was one of those 2 times, and yeah, it's just going out of our way to avoid that trigger just makes it slower than just fighting him at that point.
Interestingly enough as well, you'll notice that flying enemy becomes a snail for some reason on our second way back. Not complaining.
I think I did think about this over the weekend, and I think the reason for that is I think it was meant to always be a snail, but the first time you go through that area, you're just Flint, and he can't really deal with the snails by himself, and so they make it an enemy that he can kill.
That does make a lot of sense.
That's my theory, at least. Alright, but now that we have Wolfgang back, it is time to go rescue Tinder and then complete the R&D labs. Definitely as intended. We will definitely not be skipping the entire thing. Definitely.
It's been a really long time trying to find a skip for this place, and I couldn't do it.
Yes, like I know you spent a really long time looking, couldn't find it, gave up, and somebody else was like, oh hey, you just do this.
Yep. within a day as well. It was really funny. I think I spent like probably upwards of 15 hours on the same screen. And then an extremely funny and easy skip was found for it.
Well,
okay, not easy, but what I was doing was considerably more complicated.
It's a very
doable
skip, I'll say that.
Yes, yeah.
I would not call it easy by any means. It is, in all honesty, one of the harder skips in the run. However, it is very safe, and so like you don't have to like worry about doing it with like an enemy chasing you down or anything like that.
Yeah. My initial theory was going out of bounds with multiple frame perfect buckler hops and then walking around underneath the water. It was a whole slew of things.
Yeah, thankfully that is not necessary.
Yeah, that would be.
Instead, it's just 2 kind of annoying jumps. Alright. But now that we have all of our partners, we can go back to R&D and show them what we're worth.
Well, show 10% of it what we're worth.
We only show 10% because we're not worth that much. Alright. But now that this is the return trip, there's a lot more enemies all over. So things become a lot more precarious in a lot of these areas. And if we had to do everything, even in a semi-intended order, there's a lot of really, really difficult enemies to dodge in here that thankfully we don't have to worry about.
That guy right there, by the way, probably the worst thing ever made.
Yeah, the flamethrower enemies are somehow the worst enemies in the entire game to dodge. They are god-awful. Alright, but now we have our badge reactivated because they were deactivated because there was like, oh, you're rogue employees, we're deactivating your badges now. So now we can actually interact with all the terminals scattered throughout this area. And the intended way of completing the R&D labs are there's 4 colored terminals throughout the entire dungeon. And you're supposed to go through the dungeon, messed up the hop, the dungeon, activate each of those colored terminals. Each of those terminals will activate and deactivate various things throughout the dungeon so you can make it to new areas of the dungeon. And, you know, you're only supposed to be able to activate those specific terminals in a specific order. So basically the game's like, oh yeah, you can only activate these in this specific order. That means in order to open the at last door, if you activated this last terminal, that means you activate everything else, right? So you can just open the door if you activate the last terminal. You could probably
also-
see where the skip comes in.
Yeah, I also spent a lot longer than I would like to admit trying to skip past this door instead of doing the terminals. Still might be possible. It just also might just not be worth it now that we have a different time to skip.
Also, I do need to be very careful not to encounter this guy, because of all of the story-breaking shenanigans that we're doing, if we encounter that guy, we can't actually run from it, which is very bad. All right, now it's time for R&D skip. Gotta jump around this pipe, and then do a blind max height buckler hop to make it up to that platform up top.
It's also a coyote time one because we have to be not underneath the platform as we do it.
I'm getting some good oh, how did that not make it?
Ooh.
I thought I genuinely don't know how that didn't make it. That's a shame.
It looks like you clipped the collision. I don't know.
Ooh, that was close, but not quite. Yeah, like I said, this is a very, very difficult jump, but thankfully the stakes are very low for retrying it, so you can just kind of throw yourself at it until it finally works.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get it like right away, and then sometimes it takes a lot of tries. Oh, that should have made it.
You'll notice that little gremlin down there too. For some reason, when you enter this screen without having the correct terminals loaded, he splits into two, and he's like a ghost.
The second one doesn't have any like collision or anything, it's just kind of there.
Yeah, it's just a little guy. Times two. But yeah, you could fail this trick for like upwards of 3 minutes and it would still be faster than doing it the intended way.
Yeah, this trick saves so much time. There we go. That took a lot longer than I would have liked, but we got there.
Nice skip.
GG.
So yeah, this green terminal is the only one that actually affects that door that we need to go through. And then to get back, we could just jump over the fence and then it respawns us down here. All right, and just like that, we're done with R&D. And you might be thinking, wait, done with R&D? Shouldn't there be like a boss fight here or something? No. There's just a lot of text.
Like a lot of text.
Yeah, this is one of the unfortunate consequences of it being an RPG and a story-heavy RPG, is sometimes there's just segments with way too much text that you have to mash through.
The community has talked about Turbo more than once, but just because of the fact that it's a console speed game as well, we're still on the fence about it.
Which is funny because it's like I'm the main console runner and I'm kind of just like, I don't really care that much, just use it. But like,
and I think that's the thing is like, most of the actual community members who have done runs of the game don't like have no opinion on it one way or another. It just kind of hasn't been solidified yet.
Yeah, that's the consequence of a speed game not having a very large community is if somebody isn't the one to just like push for a ruling to be made on something, then it just kind of falls by the wayside.
Yeah, if we had more runners and more people who were actively vouching for Turbo, we would 100% be, totally fine with it being a thing, I believe.
Yeah. In the meantime, I have 2 controllers. I'm mashing with both of them. On PC, you could use like keyboard and controller to mash with 2 inputs at the same time, because that is the fastest way to mash in this game. And even though I am using 2 controllers, I know for a fact my mashing is not optimal, but it is faster than if I was only using 1 controller.
Yeah, there is no B button to advance text, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
If I remember correctly.
Unfortunately, not like Paper Mario 64 in that sense. We've asked the devs a few times, like, hey, this would be really cool, but... And I don't know if they've really said anything in either direction, either affirmative or negative, but they haven't put in the game yet. Maybe one day. It would be pretty cool if they did.
We haven't seen a patch for this game in a year, I think. So
The game hasn't even been out a year.
oh yeah, maybe
It's been I think a
exaggerating.
month or two since the last patch, and the last patch just added, I think, French or something. It was just like to add an extra
Checking.
language.
Now I must check.
I want to say it was either beginning of May or end of April. Also, like, stories happening on screen right now.
Oh yeah, things are going on.
Yeah, like Mr. Moon came to capture us, Tinder betrayed us or something, and then unbetrayed us. It was a whole thing.
Oh yeah, it was April 10th.
Okay, so yeah,
My time management is not amazing.
yeah, this game only came out in January of this year, so it is still under half a year old.
Oh my gosh. Jesus.
Yeah.
Years flown by.
I mean, it feels a lot longer because the Kickstarter for this game was a lot longer before then. So if you're like me and backed this game on Kickstarter, you've been aware of it much longer than that.
This is true, yes.
I think the Kickstarter was back end of 2022, beginning of 2023 or something. Oops. There we go.
Oh, yeah, there's a book in that safe. I wonder if we could get that early.
The answer is yes. And the next question is that useful? The answer is no.
Wah, 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 wah.
Because, yeah, the story progression that lets you actually use the book to teleport doesn't happen until, like, that cutscene of you, like, entering the room to grab the book.
It is literally that cutscene, yep. Which is, quite unfortunate.
Yeah, because there's actually, like, a way you can, like, jankily, like, rub up against the side of the safe and throw the buckler and, like, clip through the safe to grab the hitbox of the book early or something. It's really weird, really jank. Kind of glad it doesn't work because it seems like it would be pretty brutal to actually try and do consistently.
It would be a category split moment, unfortunately, like, for sure. The thing with it is that when you throw a buckler, items have, like, a screen shake property. It's kind of weird and very jank.
Yeah, also, this book is Mr. Moon's home book. This is where he's from, and as you can see, it's in not the best of shape.
Yeah, you need fans of your story in order for the story to continue going, and that's why Escape from Ever After Inc. is doing what they do. Oh yeah, we also just skipped this whole thing, by the way.
Yeah, there's like a whole puzzle here that we're supposed to do where it's like, oh, the bread can only be to the left of the cheese, or blah, 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 blah. Who cares? We're just gonna jump. There we go. Because we can just get to the other side of this doorway and take the loading zone. Because now it's time for the boss fight of Chapter 4.
Yeah, this boss fight was really, really hard until we made the aforementioned discovery of Bear Boost.
No, we don't use that here, actually.
Oh, oops. We revamped the revamped fight.
You know, this fight is not that bad, but it is a little sketchy if you miss too many blocks, is basically what it comes down to. This is one of the fights that we grabbed one of those chocolate chip cookies for earlier because it allows us to just get a full heal halfway through the fight.
Oh, do we still use Jam Session for this?
I do not, no.
Okay.
Also, banger. This is
Oh,
potentially my favorite song in the game.
This is a banger track.
Okay, and
It's the boss. Oh, nice
I
poison.
did get a poison. It took a couple hits, but I at least got the poison, which is good. But yeah, this boss has some very interesting mechanics with the shield here, in that the shield has 4 spots. You have to break one of them before you can damage the boss. Different attacks attack the boss from different positions, and the shields will constantly rotate as well. So whether or not you can hit the boss with certain attacks is dependent on which shields are currently broken, and whether or not he regenerated certain ones. And by using the Vine attack, which breaks 2 of the shields at once, and then using Buckler Barrage with Flint, we can just completely wail on him while destroying a whole bunch of shields.
Initial routing of this fight had us considering beating Starla, because Starla here is actually an NPC that you, or a enemy that you can hit, but it ends up not being fast at all because Mr. Moon gets enraged if Starla passes, so it ends up just being really inconsistent.
Because the game kind of lies to you about this fight, actually. The way it frames this fight is like, oh, Starla's like helping him throughout the fight. You should probably try and take her down first. You don't do that. That actually makes the fight way harder. It is so much easier if you just ignore her. Even casually. Like, even not in a speedrun sense. I didn't know
casually. Yeah, casually, I tried the fight a couple times beating Starla, and I was just like, now let me try without beating Starla, and I beat it my first try, so... Just one of those things.
Okay, he should be dead this turn, I believe. Yep.
That sounds right, yeah.
Cool. He did not be super mean with his attacks, and I did not miss that many blocks.
Yeah, extremely good fight here. The poison on the first round was extremely nice.
Because he does not get poisoned until the third turn if Flint doesn't get a lucky poison at any point during the first 2 turns, because that's the first turn that the vine can actually hit him. And so if that happens, you just miss out on a lot of damage. This fight is very doable even if that does happen and you miss out on all that extra damage, but as you saw, getting an early poison just lets things end a lot earlier.
It's actually like really interesting because when we first talked about putting poison into the route, because it's a really small detour. It was that small little alcove in chapter 2.
Yes.
Yes.
We were considering the like, you know, how much it would actually help here and how much it would actually help there. But just you can just see from this run, like even one lucky poison just saves upwards of so much time.
Like one lucky poison can cut out turns from a fight potentially.
Exactly.
Like that fight specifically, if you get no lucky poisons, that fight takes an entire 1 to 2 extra, like, full cycles of turns, potentially.
Yep. Oh yeah, we're in the real world now, by the way.
Yeah, this is Ever After Inc. headquarters in the real world. And it turns out Patches is actually the mascot for Ever After Inc. Or rather, the old mascot.
And now we have found out Patch's reasons for wanting to join us.
Yeah, basically, Ever After Inc. created a book specifically just to create a mascot character using their storybook technology. And even though his book is corporate manufactured, when they replaced him with the new version of Patches, they destroyed all of the versions of his book, and he is coming to the real world to find his last book that he hid away in his old office. That is his entire reason for joining us. So yeah, this is actually, like, this is the real world. This is the final dungeon of the entire game. Wow.
Oh, rough.
Yeah. Not that big a deal. There's a lot of enemies here. A lot of them are quite difficult to avoid getting in encounters with. But thankfully, because I don't have to fight pretty much any of them, taking first strikes here just loses time. There's no risk of ever dying or anything, because as long as both of your characters don't go down at the same time, you're not going to game over. And if you've run away with the second character and the first character is already dead, they should get revived with 1 health.
Extremely nice mechanic, by the way.
Makes things not at all scary when going through here, even if you get first struck by literally every enemy in the entire dungeon.
Yeah.
Alright.
There's not much to skip here. Early on in speedrunning and theorizing for this game, we found, or somebody, I think a random Twitch streamer was doing a casual playthrough, and somebody found an upzip in chapter 1 where they got a lot of height, and we kind of theorized that, like, if we could find out how that was done and make it happen here, it could save some time. But realistically, I don't even think anybody was able to recreate the chapter 1 zip.
I think people were able to recreate it. It's just not useful. But
yeah.
Thankfully, there is some stuff that we could skip here.
Yep. So the new patches, they made a new patches after the old punk patches wasn't cool enough anymore. They made a more soft, lovable patches. And he comes to fight you here unless you're really cool like us and just can jump.
Yeah, so this kind of skips Patch's whole story cutscene here. Sorry, Patches. It's probably for the best because they kind of destroyed your book already.
Yeah. It's been found and it's been set on fire.
Also, this guy can't actually catch us, so he's just running after us, stabbing into midair over and over again until he goes off screen.
It's pretty funny. I like those enemies.
Well,
their animation's
they're very funny, except for the one that we can't avoid in Chapter 2.
Yeah, the one that you can't avoid unless you're like big baller with timing, which is very hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Also, all of the
obviously.
enemies in this area are just like revamped, stronger versions of enemies from earlier in the game. You can tell because they're a different color.
Yes.
The
That's
classic.
Yeah, it's so classic. I mean, that dates back to like Zelda 1.
And it's also a Paper Mario staple as well. Oh, recolored this enemy. It's a new enemy, and now it's stronger. All right, this.
I would call it uncreative, but you know.
I feel like it wraps back around into being creative sometimes.
Exactly.
Yep. I knew that.
Oh
I
my
knew
god,
that
this stupid enemy, bro.
Yeah.
I think I've only ever avoided that guy like twice ever.
Yeah, as we were saying earlier, those flamethrower enemies are just, not only are they faster than you, but their flamethrower range is just like disgustingly large. So yeah, doing some re-equips here for the upcoming boss battle. This boss battle is hilarious. Not in the game sense or the speedrunning sense, but in the writing sense.
We'll show you why. This is a marathon run. We can afford to spend a little time showing off a little bit of funny dialogue.
Oh, of course.
This is the board of directors. Forever After Inc. All of their attacks are corporate jargon.
It's genuinely amazing. So, this fight was like... It is just like routing nightmare. It is before Bear Boost, this was like we were using the wind ballad to potentially, hopefully, knock one of them out.
Time for budget cuts. And he comes at us with a giant pair of scissors.
Oh yeah, it's really good stuff.
Also, this fight is one of those classic fights where you need to have all of the enemies dead at the same time or else they will arrive.
Yep. But yeah, you can see how Bear Boost is effectively working here.
Marked is too high, watch your head, and they get spikes on their head.
Oh yeah, and here's Patch's synergy move.
Yeah, it is very fast, very strong, but it costs 6 synergy points, which is why we don't use it.
Yep.
All right, and then Explosive Brew and the fight's over. We didn't get to see my favorite attack, which is the market is looking bullish, and just a giant stampede of bulls comes and attacks us.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Also, my favorite line of dialogue in the entire game is coming up after this fight.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
I don't really have anything else to add to all that. Whatever, I sit on 6 other boards. At least Walmart doesn't make me engage in combat. Sheesh.
Honestly, that's so real though. Why would you want to engage in combat if you're on the board?
All right. Wait. I
was
down 2, that one. That was the only reason I switched to English, is because I just wanted to show that line specifically.
No, it's a great line. It's a great line.
Yeah, Patch's synergy move is very gate kept, because, as is pointed out in chat, you literally can't use it until you beat Mr. Moon.
Until you beat Captain Silver.
Yes, sorry. That's when you get patches.
But yeah, the earliest versions of that fight, we ended up like getting trinkets that let us get extra synergy points, so we could use Tinder's synergy like multiple times during the fight to do extra damage to all of the enemies at once. And then we realized, oh, Bear Boost. It lets you buff, if you upgrade Bear Boost, it lets you buff your partner's attack and not just Patches. And it's every time you use it, it resets the timer and then applies an extra attack boost. So every single time you use it, it resets that timer and that attack power just keeps going up.
It's so good.
So by combining that with Eva's ability to hit all of the enemies at once, you can hit all of the enemies twice using Bear Boost to just do 12 damage to all of them. Use Patch's Synergy to do 9 damage to all of them at once, and then an Explosive Brew can finish off the 3 that have more health than the first one. And that is a perfect kill every single time, with the minor caveat of you just need to make sure they don't hard target Eva during like the first 2 turns before she can get all of her attacks off. Because if that happens, then there's a bit of a problem, but that doesn't happen very often.
And it's time for the final boss. This fight used to be able to be poisoned. I don't know.
No, it can still be poisoned.
Oh, okay. They changed it again.
No, they actually never changed it. I think they talked about changing it, but they never did.
That's correct, yes.
But yeah, if you thought Bear Boost was broken when you could use it a couple times in a row, try using it like 7 times in a row.
Another fight that was trivialized because of this strategy.
Yeah, this fight, there's basically 2 ways this fight can go. Either it goes extremely fast, or the boss does a lot of damage and we need to spend a turn healing, and then it goes fast. Alright. So yeah, this entire fight I am just going to be doing one thing with each character. Patches will be Bear Boosting Flint, and Flint will be using his basic attack.
Also, you just got an insane poison.
Oh yeah, no, getting poison turn 1 there is very nice. Poison here is not required, so to speak, but it is definitely nice to get. The way the HP works is, it is actually an exact kill if you Bear Boost, I forget if it was 6 times or 7 times, and then do the Flint's basic attack on every turn out of 8 turns. And if you do that, it is an exact kill on the boss. However, the boss can raise its defense from time to time, and then that makes the exact kill kind of go out the window. So that's where the poison comes in, because that offsets any its boosts and lets you do a couple extra points of damage.
So yeah, she steals our storybooks here and ends up warping us around, and she ends up using mechanics from all of the books that we have to do fun little attacks. It's a really cool boss fight.
And if you do a whole bunch of side quests, you actually get the NPCs to help you out in each of the storybooks. The 3 blind mice always help you out no matter what, but there is side quests that we did not do that would allow us to get extra help. That would basically just every time we go to somewhere that would give us help, they do 10 damage to the boss. Obviously not worth it in an 90% run, but it would speed up the fight slightly.
Funnily enough, casually, if you are the kind of person who wants to complete as much as you can before you attempt the final boss the first time, this boss fight is much easier than the board fight casually.
Okay, so unfortunately I had to heal early, which means I will be taking an extra turn. Because I did not get a Bear Boost that turn. But I need to heal before this attack if somebody's at low health, because it hits multiple times. Like that. Okay, thankfully her attack boost is finally gone. That is the bad RNG that makes this fight take longer. But the funny thing is,
you can just see
if you do enough damage, it just instantly transitions her to the next phase every single attack, so she barely ever gets to attack once things really get rolling.
Yeah, and you can just kind of see how insanely the Bear Boost scales here. Just the damage numbers just rise and rise.
All right. Oh, actually, maybe it won't take. I think we got enough poison to make it actually not take an extra turn. That's really rare.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you've not had a turn where she wasn't.
Right, so time will be coming up in just a moment after we defeat the boss. And time will be on black screen. And time.
EG.
All right.
Actually, a really good time.
GG. That was really good.
I don't have the stream up. What was my time?
I think
It's
Looking
coming
at
in a
probably
second here.
just under a 236.
Oh, yeah, that's really good then.
Yeah.
without
235,
Cthulhu
55.
bad RNG, I think this is a PB.
I wouldn't go that far. Because if I did this run like one day earlier, this would have actually been a PB.
True.
Because my old PB was a 138 or a 238, I mean. But last night I was able to get a 232. But
Oh, it was a 232.
yes.
Oh, I thought it was a 235.
I got a 6-minute PB last night. Like it was a very, very large PB. But no, yeah, that's a really solid time. I was gonna be happy if I got sub 240. And so coming in multiple minutes under that is really, really nice. I'm very happy about that. Especially considering how many things did not exactly go perfectly.
Yeah. But all things considered, this was a great run and a great showcase of the run.
Yeah, this was excellent. Really good job, man.
Yeah, no, I am very happy with how that went. And I hope everybody enjoyed because this is a really fun game, both casually and as a speedrun. I highly recommend playing it casually, especially if you enjoy indie games, RPGs, or specifically Paper Mario, because we only get the amount of indie RPGs inspired by Paper Mario coming out these days are greater than zero, and many of them are very good. And this is one of those that are very, very good. Like this is legitimately I played this game at launch. This was an extremely polished game, contrary to what you saw during the speedrun. Like,
Yeah.
pretty much everything you saw in the speedrun, you would never encounter casually.
Without buckler hops, this game there's no skips in this game.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Like, I think the worst glitch I ran into in this game casually is, like, the lighting bugged out somewhere once. And that's it. This is a really, really good game. It's a really, really well-made game, and it's got enough of a twist on the Paper Mario formula to make things unique while still having a very, very fun story. So I would highly recommend picking this game up, playing it casually. If the speedrun seemed interesting to you, I also highly recommend picking it up as a speedrun. It's a little long, being, 2.5 hours when you know what you're doing, but it's a very chill run for the most part, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I definitely want to shout out the SRC page. There's a link to the Discord on there. We have very knowledgeable, if few, community members, and would love to see some new faces.
But yeah, if you do want to check out this game or check out the speedrun, be sure to, and you don't know where to start, if you don't want to join the Discord or something, just like message me or somebody. I'm more than happy to help anybody with this game.
Yeah, same here.
So like, if that's more your speed, go for that. If you just want to watch one of my PVs and try and copy it, do that. Play this game however you want. I'm just happy if you're playing it at all.
Real.
Yeah.
It is genuinely an amazing game.
Yeah, we need more people to know about this. This game is amazing.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you want to see more runs of this game, I am going to put a brief hiatus on running this game until after SGDQ, but I will be coming back to this game later in the summer to try and improve my PB even further. I'm going to try and get a sub 2 hour and 30-minute time. But I will be doing that over on my Twitch page at twitch.tv/illegallysam. So if you want to see more of this game or any of the other random indie games that I run, feel free to go check me out over there.
Yeah, GG Sam, thanks for letting me be on the virtual couch.
Yeah, thanks for chiming in, because having people to talk during this game makes it a lot more enjoyable.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Again, gonna echo that. Thanks for letting us join you for this absolutely amazing run that you put on.
Yeah. Either of you two got any last minute shout outs before we call it a night?
I mean, obviously I can plug myself, but I'm not really that active on on Twitch. You know, my YouTube channel is mostly for random skips for whatever game I'm playing at the moment. So.
Yeah, I'm Jacoby. You can find me twitch.tv/Jacoby_101. Mainly playing RPGs, JRPGs. Currently working on stuff for the Octopath 8th anniversary event in July. Stick around, not here, but join one of my streams if you want to find out more about that. But yeah, that's really it.
All right. Well, thanks for letting me show this off, because this game is long. It is not an easy game to get to show off in a marathon setting too often as a result, so I'm very glad I was able to put on a good performance for you all today, and I hope everybody enjoyed.
Yeah, thank you for being here, for showing this off, and thank you both for talking about it and tying it into commentary. I saw this game and I was like, I don't know what this is, and then I looked at it for 3 seconds and I was like, all right, I'm in, done. Say no more.
Yeah.
The story looked super interesting, the gameplay looked interesting, and yeah, this is a really cool game. So thank you all for being here, for showing it off.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks.
I'm always more than willing to show this off.
I can see why. It's a great game. But yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any more show for you tonight. In just a few minutes here, after our break, we're going to replay both Make Your Own Victory before this and this show in case you missed any of it. But just a few quick reminders. Like I said at the top of the show, we are looking to learn how you watch the speed runs the most. So if you have a few minutes, you can visit gdq.gg/survey and let us know what you want to see. It'll really help us out. Also, Summer Games Done Quick 2026 is very soon. It's going to be live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, July 5th to 11th. That's a little under 2 weeks at this point. You can visit gdq.gg to learn more or register for the event. You can also check out the schedule at gdq.gg/schedule. And don't have anything for you tonight. More for you tonight. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern with Hidden Heroes, followed by Express Lane at 10 p.m. Have a great night, everybody, and take care. Thanks for being here.